In the midst of a squall of fierce snow, the girl voluntarily accepted her plunge into eternal sleep, because she had no reason to live anymore. She had no family, no friends, nothing at all. The girl has nothing left, and she thinks that it would be nice to freeze like this. But at that very moment, someone approached the main character and said how ridiculous it was. Left to fall into eternal sleep, she lies there as if she is going to rule everything in this winter kingdom. And that is in the spirit of the Empress. This man also claims that if she does not want this life, then he will gladly take it. Her interlocutor also claims that the Empress now belongs to him. 3 months ago, in the imperial palace of Thanatos, someone said that it was worth stopping and putting the Empress into eternal sleep. One of the women claimed that His Majesty could use Natasha, so let him get rid of the Empress and strengthen his power. Thanatos is a golden empire in the ice. Everything on this land should have belonged to Emperor Gileati, but the man wonders why he can't do anything without the consent of the Empress. At this time, the woman turns to him and tells him to leave the Empress's brother with her. After some time, he, like the last scoundrel, will promise to become a member of the imperial government, and then the Empress will try to save him. But the more she interferes, the more vile she will become, covering up for her criminal brother. Evidence of treason will be found in his room, and the letter will say that he did it out of the Empress's hatred for His Majesty and Natasha. But before that, let him do something for her. After which the woman settles her interlocutor on the bed, and he says that he must break the limbs of the Empress, as well as her entourage, relatives, and all those close to her. Let him get rid of all the people who are dear to her, and when she appears before His Majesty in the banquet hall, will tell all the honored guests that she is carrying His Majesty's child. This will be the last time she will appear there as Empress, for her brother's crimes and her own jealousy will make her an unworthy woman, attempting to plunge her into the eternal sleep of the Emperor's son. The woman also asks if His Majesty is happy. After all, her entourage and the Empress's family will try to protect her, and then he will have to bear his ball. How cunning will she have to be, so that he can't find her? You despair he will sprinkle everything around with red liquid, and it doesn't matter how smart she is, because when everyone who could protect her falls into eternal sleep, what will she have left? 17th Empress of Thanatos, that is, the Golden Empire in the ice, became lame. Sunset Rosalyn V, considered the most noble, the most beautiful and ideal empress in the history of the empire. She is a brilliant writer and an ideal diplomat who speaks 6 languages fluently. The woman opened new medical institutions and cared for the sick and the poor. She is a kind and loving empress. Even though the woman limped, no one dared point a finger at her because of her status. Everyone loved Rosalyn, who was cold but beautiful. Everyone except one, because the girl was not loved by His Majesty the Emperor. They had no children for a long time. Rosalyn realizes that he destroyed all her followers and took her innocent brother and put him in prison. Gileati is a fool blinded by power and jealousy. As long as she still has someone to protect, she will not give up. The maid following the mistress understands that she is truly sorry. Even when the Empress injured her leg because of the Emperor, she returned. The woman claimed that everything was fine because she was still alive, and her maid wondered if the fate of this person was so cruel because of her straightforwardness, after which the maid turns to Her Majesty, who replies that she is fine, and asks if the girl will open the door to the banquet hall. The girl agrees and says that she will be with Her Majesty until the very end. Rosalyn then turns to Anna and nods her head. She understands that due to various accidents and illnesses, her environment has left her. Her favorite maid, Lady Charlotte, and her trusted assistant, who was the Home Secretary, even the deputy commander of the current army, who defended it with faith and truth. Of course, the Emperor is to blame for all their immersions in eternal sleep. The woman understands that Anna is the last one who stayed with her, so she can't lose her too. The Empress turns to the girl and says that if something happens to her, then she should leave without thinking, as far away as possible where she will be safe, because she has prepared everything she needs for her at Gnome's house on the beach. The maid then screams, "How can Her Majesty say such a thing?" Well, when she still hesitates a little, then she says that she is leaving Rosie. The Empress says that she has heard this name for a long time, and the woman asks the lady to be patient for just a few days, because Count Sorrento is also trying his best, and the Sunset family. But then the woman turns to Anna again and tells her to open the door after something and tries to hold back her tears. and opening the door, he announces that Her Majesty the Empress has arrived. At this time, the woman enters the hall and approaches the emperor. The man, looking at her, understands that she walked through the banquet hall with her firm gait and that she is such a terrible woman. He looks at the lady with disgust and wonders how she got to the banquet hall with a sore leg. His interlocutor claims that if her leg does not bend, this does not mean that she cannot walk. The emperor just thinks what kind of witch she is, after which someone tells his interlocutor to look in that direction, because the empress is there. The man with dark hair is the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Amore, named Tamon. The man claims that she really came, and the woman claims that she would rather stumble than go the wrong way. Now she looks more carefully so as not to stray from the path and fall. The woman understands that she is the only one who will go there. The girl turns to her father, mother, and brother in her thoughts, and also understands that in order to protect the treasures passed down from generation to generation of the Sunset family. But at that very moment, someone interrupts the thoughts of Her Majesty the Empress and addresses her. It turns out to be Natasha, after which the woman asks to punish her. The main character understands that today's banquet is probably for delegations from other countries, so how can a member of the government attend it? Rosalyn asks what she is doing there, and the woman replies that if she hadn't said that she has a child from Her Majesty, then her brother, that is, Count Kindly, would not have done anything to her. At the same moment, the aristocrats in shock ask if this is really the emperor's child, and if Natasha said this. The blonde claims that it is all her fault and asks to be punished. The woman also extends something into the empress's hand. He falls down completely, and the empress looks at the dagger in the red liquid in her hands. At that very moment, the aristocrats scream for someone to come to the rescue and carry this woman to a safe place. At this time, the emperor realizes that Rosalyn has been caught, after which he screams, asking what the soldiers are doing. He also tells them to take up arms and surround the empress. And the people with light hair lying on the floor say goodbye to her. The emperor cries out that the banquet is over, and Tamon, watching this, thinks what an idiot this man is. He wiped out the influential figure of Thanos with his own hands, and he is a pathetic idiot who does not know what kind of diamond he had in his hands. Someone else says that it's not funny, because the Empress is in complete isolation in the country that she served faithfully and with all her love her entire life. The guy with red hair claims that she might fall into eternal sleep before she survives this winter. A little while later, the woman is already in prison. Having overthrown the Empress, the Emperor tortured her, but the woman never told where the Sunset family treasures are. Even through the terrible pain, Rosalyn, who knew his true intentions, held on until the end without making a sound. Meanwhile, outside the palace, people who had heard these rumors came to save her, and they cried out for the Empress's life to be spared. They sincerely asked him to have mercy only once. When His Majesty came out to these people, he understood that he thought it would die down in a few days, but the strike was not ending. If he himself put it into eternal sleep, he would cause people's indignation. Therefore, a little while later, the girl was doused with cold water, and when she woke up, the Emperor claimed that he could not find out anything from her. But as befits the Empress of the Ice Kingdom, even after all the torture, she did not say where the treasure was. He would like to tear her into pieces, but as the girl sees it is too noisy outside. People continue to cry out, asking His Majesty to have mercy on the Empress. The man claims that he will spare the lady's life, so she will be grateful. After which, he screams for the woman to be deported to the icy mountains of cruelty. He also claims that he has a gift for the lady, after which he throws the heads of his relatives in front of her. The woman then screams desperately to Gigliotti Thanatos, but at that very moment she is thrown to the floor. The Emperor asks if she can do that and make that facial expression, but the Empress does it that way. The woman then screams that she will never forgive him. A little while later, the brunette realizes that it is time to return. The overthrow of the Empress of an enemy country provokes anger that he has not experienced before, after which he even thinks about what the reason is and does not know why. But he is sure that one day he will destroy this palace with his own hands. At this time, his colleague is wondering what he is looking at, and wondering if this is really Thanatos' palace. After which he claims that there are rumors that the Empress was deported to the mountains of cruelty, and this is of course a great pity because the Empress is more than any other woman. strong and beautiful, so it's a pity to lose one like that. The man at that very moment turns his horse around and heads off somewhere. His interlocutor asks him in shock where he is going. The main character is lying in the snow at this time and wondering if she will really end up like this. In her mind, the lady curses Gigliotti and thinks that she is so sorry in front of Charlotte, brother, father, and mother. After all, she couldn't protect them, and all her loved ones disappeared. The girl just wanted to do everything right and become a good empress, after which she thinks how this happened, but says that it's okay, because she will soon see all her relatives. At that moment, the man with black hair stopped his horse near the lady, and when he approached her, he said how ridiculous this was. The man wondered why this woman was born in Thanatos, and why she had to be next to this offspring. The brunette thinks why he didn't find this woman first, after which he hugs the lady. And he says that if she doesn't need this life, he will gladly take it. And then he kisses the Empress. And he says that now she belongs to him. One day, subject to the curiosity of boxing, he took materials to create a man. Various emotions, including joy, sadness, anger, and hope, danced all together around the cauldron. God was pleased with the process and wanted to fill the creature with kindness, but as soon as he turned away, the devil jumped into the cauldron. The people who appeared as a result of this were at every step at the crossroads of good and evil. They could start a war without reason and put each other into eternal sleep. When the supreme God learned of this, he became angry, and he tore the creator of mankind into pieces. And as punishment, he scattered his parts across the earth so that people would remember what they had done. The 6 elements of the deity were sealed into objects that absorbed the power of heaven and time, earth, and sea. The rest penetrated the human mind, endowing them with the ability to charm and predict, control the weather and even life. The latter, each time giving a part of itself, allowed to breathe her power into others. The man understands that he holds this woman in his hands. He does not even believe it. In any case, he already took her, so she must live. The man with red hair says that they will stop there. One of his colleagues says how cold it is there, and wonders how the inhabitants of Thanatos can live in such conditions. After this, the guy tells them to do everything faster. But when he turns around, he sees Tamon. After which he starts screaming who he brought, and did he really drag in a dead body? But the man is just heading to his tent. His interlocutor wonders if this guy has really gone crazy. The brunette at this time puts Lady on the bed. Also remembers how the girl said that she does not approve of this. The woman wondered if they should be given an island in exchange for protection from pirates. She also claimed that if it were transferred to Amore, the territorial waters of Thanatos would be reduced by approximately 3,000 meters, and in addition, it includes sea areas disputed with the Lager side. The Empress wondered if he thought she didn't know that. Her interlocutor said it was only 3,000 meters, and besides, they will resolve all contentious issues, and if the lady is really concerned about this, then let her choose an island that will not be located in the disputed zone. After all, the island of Goldal will be enough, and the woman after that says that this is what he wants. Her interlocutor asks what she means, to which the lady replies that Amore's ship was wrecked in the area of Goldal Island. There must have been something valuable on that vessel, and she was very sorry because the ship had already been raised to dry land by the Sunset family. They will return everything that was on it, but in exchange, they will give them Amore's exclusive trading rights to the Red Cocoon. This woman is not so ugly, because she negotiated exclusive rights to the Red Cocoon grown only in Amore. She was annoying and picky, but still a bold and elegant woman. Now the man notices how the lady writhes in pain and wonders if that life force wasn't enough. This girl was an enemy he wanted to destroy on the diplomatic front. However, now he does not understand why he cannot bear her pain. The main character at this time opens her eyes and wonders if this is really Tamon Cassis, after which she is still in shock, thinking about what he is doing and moves away. Rosalyn asks what he just did, and the man replies that he treated her, so let the girl remain calm. The woman tells him to return her to the ice mountain, but her interlocutor claims that he wants her to live. When he grabs the lady by the hand, she only tells him not to come closer and just let her fall into eternal sleep. After all that happened, how can she live? After all the bullying and humiliation, and after her entire family was plunged into eternal sleep, the man screams that she was kicked out of the palace to which she gave her whole life, and the girl wants to plunge into eternal sleep in the middle of a snowy desert. After which he sighs and answers that yes. Rosalyn claims that he always considered her his headache and wanted to step on her throat. After which the girl asks not to save her anymore and to put her into eternal sleep. Tamon understands that this woman is worth the entire enemy country, and she is right in what was his headache. The girl has such a thin neck, but he could easily hurt her if he pressed on it. It can easily help her close her eyes, which no longer have the will to live. Well, he also remembers how the woman negotiated with him and the way she looked at him, after which he lets the lady go and states that since she herself wants this, he will not become her tool. He also kisses the lady's foot, and she asks what he is doing. The man replies to the post and said that he is treating her so she should not twitch. He was her enemy, so he didn't intend to listen. But the Empress once again told him to stop, and then she asks him to leave. Tamon irritably says that if she really wants him to leave, but at that very moment he stops and tells the Empress to fight. He can't believe that she's asking him for this, and Tamon says that the Empress should not be weak. Let her fight with him or with someone else. Others and also wins. In his thoughts, he adds that let the lady do it the same way, just like that time when she took everything from him. He also says that the disease did not allow anyone to get her in fights. After all, isn't that her way? A little while later, the man comes out of the tent, and when he turns around, then he looks again at the lady lying in bed. At this time, the emperor asks one of the servants if he's sure that the Empress is no longer alive. His interlocutor replies that yes, and the emperor asks how he can be so sure if her body was not found. His interlocutor says that they discovered red marks, and they were probably left after an attack by wild animals. The man says that it is clear, after which he asks what will start the relics, but his interlocutor replies that they have not found it yet. It seems to him that it has been stolen a long time ago, but the emperor cries out that this cannot be. Until recent events, she was with the Empress, so she could not hide her far away. His Majesty tells this man to search all places connected with the Empress, but find a relic, to which he replies that he will do everything as the blessed son of Thanatos commands. And then he leaves altogether, and the emperor thinks that it's a curse because it seems like he's going to vomit. The ability passed down from generation to generation to the rulers of Thanatos was the ability to enter into eternal sleep. This ability was placed on the head of the emperor as a legacy along with the crown, and depending on the successor, it was expressed in different ways. Gigliotti's power was not that great, and he could only use it on people by infecting them with the plague, and condemning to a long and painful immersion in eternal sleep. In addition, each time this entailed certain consequences. Having recently destroyed the Empress's inner circle, Gigliotti suffered from a horrific reaction. Besides, he was never able to put Rosalyn into eternal sleep, and all this because of the wedding ceremony. Emperor Thanatos sealed the marriage by mixing his red liquid with holy water and giving it to the Empress to drink. This ritual was performed to ensure that under no circumstances would the couple point daggers at each other. Therefore, he tried to destroy Rosalyn in another way, but due to the Sunset family's heirloom possessing divine power, he failed every time. Well, finally he succeeded, and now the man begins to laugh madly, and he cries out that he feels so good. He also wonders if he did a bad job and now it's over with her. The emperor cries out that he did everything as needed, but at that very moment his portrait falls from the wall, and it hits the floor loudly, causing the emperor to scream. At that very moment, knights burst into the room and ask His Majesty what happened. They also wonder if the emperor is okay and what happened there. The man replies that nothing like that and asks to be helped up. He also curses this painting and tells it to be taken away. After which, he sees the painting of the Empress. The man immediately takes out his sword and begins to cut her, screaming so that she would fall into eternal sleep. When he runs out of breath, he looks at the cut picture and throws the sword. But at that very moment, he grabs his head and screams, "Tamon!" At this time, he heads through the desert. The main character understands that it is very hot there, but it is still much more pleasant than the cold of the snowy mountains. The girl also thinks how much time has passed since the moment she accepted this man. The lady also looks at her hands and understands that, even though she did not take any medication, well, she feels much better. So the girl wonders if this is really a man. But at that same moment, she understands that this cannot be, because this is something that has not been seen for several hundred years. This is the fifth divine element, so it simply cannot be in this person. But then Rosalyn wonders what this rapid healing is about, and her interlocutor asks how the lady feels. The girl says that even though he saved her, she can fall into eternal sleep again at any moment. Her interlocutor says that it doesn't matter, because he will save her again and again. A little while later, he reports that they are there, and this is his country called Amore. After which they enter Gvinish, which is the capital of Amore. People immediately cry out that messengers have arrived, and this is the great Tamon. They are all happy, but the main character feels discomfort, after which the man turns to Ronaso, and he says that he has some other things to do, so let him report everything. Before his interlocutor can answer, the man is already galloping away on his horse. When he arrives at his home, someone turns to the general with concern. He also wonders if he came there straight away, after which he tells the girl to take care of the owner. He also wonders who the gentleman has brought, but the man only asks if he has prepared any water. His interlocutor replies that yes, and a little while later, the man enters the room with the pool. He also says that from now on, no one should be allowed in and the door should be slammed. He then takes off his clothes and removes from the lady the cloak with which he had wrapped her. When he examines the Empress's body, he realizes that the bruises have completely disappeared. He also lifts the lady in his arms and goes into the water. The girl immediately comes to her senses. Her interlocutor claims that she has finally come to her senses, and the Empress screams, asking where they are. The man replies that this is his house and his bathroom. Rosalyn realizes that she has certainly heard that everyone in Amore loves to swim because of the hot weather and the large amount of water. But how could a non-royal person have such a large private bathroom? The lady also looks at the hanger and notices a self-defense dagger there. The brunette wonders what she is looking at, after which the lady moves away from him a little and says that by saving her life, Tamon made the wrong choice. The man approaches Rosalyn and says that he will decide whether she is right or not. Lady says how arrogant he is, and her interlocutor replies that there is no person who is not arrogant. The girl wonders what the point of bringing her there is, and the man asks if she is talking about the point, after which he lowers his gaze a little lower. The main character, noticing this, claims that she didn't even know that Tamon of Amore had a weakness for women. Her interlocutor replies that yes, and he too did not know that he would so thirst for the Empress of an enemy country. Rosalyn claims that if he needs a woman, then he should look for her somewhere, and there must be plenty of those on earth who want him. Her interlocutor replies that of course, but they are not Rosalyn. The girl claims that it sounds like she is the only one he needs, to which her interlocutor replies that yes, and he wants what she has. Rosalyn claims that this is some kind of nonsense, because she has nothing. Her interlocutor asks why she thinks so, because the lady has a lot. Her experience, wisdom, body, and heart, and he wants it all. Then the girl says that she is sorry. She grabs the dagger and puts it to her neck, after which she claims that she did say so, which won't give him anything. When the lady injures herself, she falls to the floor. Her interlocutor immediately runs up to her and screams that this idiot is doing it again even after he saved her. The lady thinks that this is all very strange, because someone really wanted to put her into eternal sleep, and someone is trying to save. When the brunette licks the lady's wound, he says that it's good that it's not deep. The girl understands that he is a madman, and her interlocutor asks how she dares to plunge into eternal sleep again in front of him. If she doesn't need this life, he will gladly take it. Tamon claims that he saved the lady using his life force, and now he hugs her so desperately, so let the girl remember that now she belongs to him. A little while later, someone shouts that it was Ronaso. Bashel. This woman is the queen of Amore, named Theo Lantifu. The woman wonders why they are not in the palace yet, and what they are doing there. And the man with red hair at this time curses Tamon in his thoughts, and wonders what he is doing there. At this time, the queen asks if the guy is not listening to her, and he just turns away, puzzled. After which he says that this cannot be, and that through the prayers of Her Majesty they got home safely. The woman claims that she knew they were on their way, but did not expect them to arrive so early. She also wonders where Tamon went, and her interlocutor replies that perhaps he caught the disease from Emperor Thanatos, but now he is better. The woman asks if he is sick, and her interlocutor replies that he didn't really say anything and simply warned that he would go home first. The queen then claims that looking at Emperor Thanatos can actually make you fall ill with a disease you've never suffered from before. His sickening expression is enough to do so, but she is still worried because Tamon has never been seriously ill before, after which she claims that she will go to him right now, and Renaso, in shock, turns to Her Majesty. He also suggests that she greet everyone first and asks if she heard what madness Emperor Thanatos committed this time. The man also asks if she doesn't want to hear the details, to which she replies that it's fine. The woman cries out that first they will hold a welcoming ceremony and greet their loyal subjects, after which she whispers something to the maid, and Renaso understands that he got away with it, after which the man says that they are going to the palace. A little while later, the servant of the Empress turns to the messenger, and she asks if he can go with her, to which he agrees. At this time, Tamon kisses the main character. The girl thinks that maybe he is making fun of her in this way, after which she tells him to wait. Rosalyn realizes that she feels completely restored, and her interlocutor asks what now, and whether she really regrets not having plunged into eternal sleep. He also tells the lady not to look at him because, to tell the truth, her look and facial expression really excite him. The main character is shocked and thinks what he is talking about. A little while ago, the emperor claimed that he doesn't even know where to sleep. Maybe I should fall asleep somewhere in the stables outside the castle. One of the people at this time with a smile on her face asked if the others knew that hugging a doll is much more pleasant than hugging an empress, and any man will cool down in front of her. Now the girl just tells Tamon to leave her alone, and the man asks if she doesn't like it. Rosalyn wonders if she should listen to his wishes and orders. She also states that he has already saved her once, so does he really think that this will happen again? To live or to plunge into eternal sleep is her choice, and the man thinks that it is good, and also she is right. Now the lady looks like herself, and having lost everything, the Empress was simply waiting to fall into eternal sleep. Compared to her who has given up now, she is even more beautiful. After which her interlocutor extends his hand, and he claims that he will say something else, because the lady is simply driving him crazy. The girl only pushes his hand away and then screams for him not to do that. And besides, let him not touch her lips whenever he wants, to which her interlocutor agrees. And he says that if she doesn't like it, then he won't do it, and won't touch her lips when he wants to, after which he even swears. The girl wonders if he hates her, and wonders why he tortures her, not letting her fall into eternal sleep. Tamon, he replies that he never hated her, and that the Empress was simply annoying him. But anyway, he gave her all the life force he needed. Rosalyn replies that she didn't ask for it, and her interlocutor claims that if she has no reason to live, then they can find them. He asks what about hatred and revenge, and also what about the fall of Thanatos. The girl replies that she doesn't need any of this, and then her interlocutor asks, what about love? Rosalyn is a little embarrassed by this, and Tamon claims that he likes this expression so much, and it seems he hit the nail on the head. A little while later, the lady lies in bed and realizes that it has been a tiring day. At the same moment, the girl begins to have a dream about how monsters are attacking the village. Someone screams that there is a crack in the sky, and they continue to arrive. Then someone shouted that one was heading to the shelter, and that they should go quickly because Her Majesty was in danger. At this time, the baby turns to Her Majesty the Empress and says that she is scared. The woman tells the child that everything is fine because they will protect her. Rosalyn also understands that she would not have thought that a breach would appear during an event at the orphanage. At that moment, a monster burst into the room, and the woman wondered how long they could hold out until the Imperial Guard arrived. Someone else said that the Empress shouldn't worry, because he also knows how to handle a ball, and it's a mere trifle. Well, when the monster approached him, the man screamed that it was so horrible. Then the monster turned to the Empress and was about to attack her. The woman understands that it is dangerous, but then dodges, however. Her leg still suffers from the splinter that pierces it through and through. Rosalyn almost makes a sound, but then closes her mouth and realizes that if she screams, it will be worse. These monsters are sensitive to sound, so you can't scream. The Emperor at this time screams, "Has this piece of beef really lost it?" And he will show him the power of the Emperor increased at the same moment the monster hit him in the stomach. And then a stone flew at the Emperor's nose, and he cried out in pain. He also wondered what the knights were doing outside, because now this giant. But when he saw the terrible grimace of the monster, He immediately began to run away and hid behind the table that was behind the children. The children looked at him and wondered if His Majesty the Emperor really wanted to use them as a shield. They are all in danger, and if this continues, it will be bad. There must be some way out. After which, the children thought that Her Majesty should know what to do. The woman then asked if the child would help her. She whispered that she was so proud of him and insisted that he should run with all his might to the door from which the monster appeared, and wondered if he could scream loudly while doing so. Did so after that, and the woman, trying to get up, understood that she needed to hurry, because this was a chance that the child had given her, risking her own life, and so she can't let him go. The lady took the sword in her hands and then finished off the monster, and she also turned around and looked at the emperor. All the children looked at him with disgust, after which the man angrily claimed that he was the emperor of this country, and he was so glad that they were all safe, after which he asked why everyone was looking at him like that, and then he actually screamed. A few days later, the Empress was walking with a cane in the castle, and another lady was hanging around His Majesty and claiming that he was the best. When they passed by her, the girl claimed that His Majesty was right, because the Empress really was limping. Gigliotti. He replied that yes, and asked how one could remain arrogant in such a situation. Now the main character opens her eyes and wonders if this is a dream. The girl realizes that 3 years have passed, and she wonders if that child is okay. Before attending the banquet, she gave him a sacred relic, and it would most likely protect him, after which the lady understands that now she will also plunge into eternal sleep. But when the girl opens the door to the balcony, she sees the sea in front of her. She wonders if this is the same sea she heard about, and it turns out that such a world exists. Rosalyn realizes that this is a nice landscape before death, and also mentally thanks Tamon for showing her this. But as soon as the lady is about to jump, someone grabs her. It turns out to be Tamon, and the man claims that now he will not leave his post, even in his sleep. The main character says that he is like a violator. The man then takes her in his arms and states that if he thinks about it, he would like to change his position a little. He will heal her from any wound or illness. That is, he will save her no matter what. But his method of treatment is somewhat problematic, and she knows it. Knowing this, to continue to do this means to want it. The main character in shock asks what he is talking about. Her interlocutor claims that if this is the case, then let her just say so. Even if not, he will still listen to her. The lady immediately screams at him to stop talking nonsense, but the man only returns to the room and claims that since they are both awake, maybe they should take a walk. Rosalyn screams that she doesn't want to, after which she says to be put on the ground. A little while later, the two are heading out on horseback, and the girl asks where Tamon is going. The man replies that he is going to a good place, after which he suggests the lady to hold on tightly, but the main character only turns away. The man understands that looking at how she recovers, he understands that his ability is not so useless. 5 years earlier, his body temperature began to rise sharply, and the disease of their family, passed down from generation to generation, befell him too. If he hadn't stumbled upon a worn-out manuscript in one of the corners of the family library, he would have plunged into eternal sleep without ever knowing that this was in fact the 5th divine element, called life, that had sunk into oblivion. According to the source found, the reason why no one has shown this supernatural ability since the time of the first heir, there was an inability to withstand it, and if the heat accumulates in the body over a certain period, there is no way to ask, but there is a great strain on the heart. The way to get rid of the heat is to let it out or share it with someone else. This could easily be solved by finding a woman. Oddly enough, he never took advantage of this, even when one of the ladies whispered in his ear. The man just thought how angry it made him, after which he got up and went outside. He thought about what a pungent smell there was. But if you think about it, the Empress's smell was different. At the same moment, Tamon wondered what he was thinking about. At this time, the Empress turns to Tamon, and he comes out of his thoughts and asks what happened. The main character claims that she asked where they are. Her interlocutor claims that these are his forest lands, and he wants to show her something. When the girl steps onto the floor, she claims that she didn't know he was so spontaneous. The lady also asks what he wants to show her, and the man offers the lady to give him her hand, and then he will support her. Rosalyn replies that she can go on her own, but her interlocutor says that the ground is damp, and if she steps on it, it won't be so easy to get out. Yes, and it's just like from him. After which the man also says that they are almost there, and the lady, looking ahead, sees glowing butterflies appearing in the moonlight. The man claims that they say they cannot live in cold places, and he has never seen them in her country. It takes 10 months for it to take its current form, and so the butterfly flies carefree for 10 days and mates for 2 days. After 3 days, she lays eggs and dies, and the butterfly has such a short life. The main character claims that it is so amazing because they look like dancing stars. The man at this time asks if she knows why they glow. It is a very simple, though important, reason, after which he claims that this is life, and in order to squeeze out, they desperately flap their wings and emit light, showing that they are there and asking to look at them. The main character claims that even if they leave offspring, they still die. But her interlocutor claims that it is different to plunge into eternal sleep, leaving behind an inheritance, or simply turn to dust. The difference between these two things is very big, and the girl understands that. That is, she can plunge into eternal sleep without doing anything, or leave something behind. A little while later, a guy with red hair rides a horse. He understands that they have a problem because last night when the feast took place, then the queen offered a drink, after which she turned to Ronaso and claimed that she had heard the general had brought something from Thanatos. The woman asked what it was, and that it was just her curiosity, but her interlocutor claimed that Her Majesty had misunderstood. He also claimed that he was not feeling well and would be away for a short while. Now, riding on a horse, he understands that the queen already knows, so he does not understand what this Tamon is thinking about. When he arrives at the man's estate, he screams for everyone to get out of the way. He also approaches Tamon's room and cries out that this is a matter of royal importance. The servant claims that the master ordered him not to be disturbed. However, his interlocutor cries out what could be more important than the king's commission. The servant understands that he is more afraid of the master than the queen. But at that very moment, the guy with red hair grabs the door handle and bursts into the room. The guy screams that he has come on very important business, but at that very moment, a dagger flies past his face. The brunette tells him to go away, and his interlocutor understands that he thought so, that the gentleman is with this woman. This is the Empress of Thanatos, declared to be immersed in eternal sleep. At this time, Tamon says that since the guy ignored the dagger flying at him, it doesn't matter to him whether he will lose an eye, after which he tells Ronaso to get out. A little while later, the servant tells the guy with red hair that he did warn that the gentleman ordered not to let anyone in. His interlocutor asks how many nights he hides this girl in his bedroom, and he is definitely a madman, after which he hands the gentleman a handkerchief and he asks why he needs it, after which the butler points to his cheek and claims that he has red liquid on his cheek. Ronaso accepts this handkerchief and says that he didn't even have time to do anything. If it weren't for this illness that started 5 years ago, he would have fallen on the battlefield long ago and frightened his enemies as a ghost. That's why he needs to pull himself together, and he is a general of the 1st Cavalry Corps, but he behaves worse than a sick person. Tamon, Theo, and him have been friends since childhood. When they were still studying, he always teased Tamon, and after his family fell after being accused of treason, they both helped him a lot. If Tamon hadn't restored his good name, the guy would already be lying in a coffin with his family. He is his friend and benefactor, and maybe that is why they are so close. At that moment, a man enters the room and asks what is going on. Tamon also says that he thinks Ronaso didn't just burst into someone else's bedroom by accident, so he'll listen to him. When the servant leaves, the guy with red hair turns to Tamon and asks if it's time for him to tell him everything honestly. Woman with him. But his interlocutor replies that he doesn't understand what he's talking about. Ronaso cries out that he is talking about that woman. His interlocutor asks if he really saw it. The guy with the red hair screams that, of course he saw everything. Then his interlocutor claims that he will have to take away his eyes. Ronaso immediately replies that he did not see everything and cries out that it does not matter how stubborn Tamon is with him, but Her Majesty will be a different story. The man wonders why he suddenly started talking about Her Majesty, and his interlocutor claims that she asked what he brought from Thanatos. And he also thinks that someone close to him said this, but the man claims that he does not think it will become a big problem. His interlocutor asks if he is going to tell Her Majesty about this woman, after which he smirks and replies that no. The main character at this time dreams of a dream in which someone addresses her and claims that she likes Canely. The girl also tells Rosie to sit down because she will treat her to some really tasty tea. Rosalyn wonders if it is Anna, after which her interlocutor says that they were alone, sits down and pours her tea. Well, when the main character looks into this tea, she realizes that it is crimson red. At the same moment, someone else addresses Her Majesty the Empress. The cat, shocked, asks if it is Charlotte, after which she sees the heads of her father and mother. They say that Her Majesty must always be unshakable. The girl is shocked and thinks how this could happen, and when she turns around, someone else is talking to Rosie. The man claims that he should have taken care of her and wonders if she was so sad because he was harsh. The girl turns to her grandfather, and he claims that he never wanted to send her to the imperial family because he was afraid that she would be unhappy. Rosalyn tells her grandfather that it was her choice and realizes that it was good that he left earlier. His heart would not stand it if his grandfather saw her suffering, after which his man disappears, and the lady claims that she is fine because she will come to them soon. The girl also throws herself off the cliff. Well, at that very moment, someone grabs the girl and says that no matter how much she tries to commit suicide, he will save her again and again. Rosalyn tells him to leave her because she has no reason to live. The man claimed that if there were no more reasons left, they would find new ones. He also asked what she wanted. Maybe it was hatred, revenge, or the fall of Thanatos. Rosalyn screamed that she didn't need it, and then her interlocutor asked, "What about love?" The main character wondered if she really needed love, and at that moment, she opened her eyes. The maid says that the mistress woke up, after which she claims that they were worried because her breathing was so heavy. The woman asks if the lady is okay, after which she apologizes for not introducing herself. The maid claims that her name is Arson, and she will help the lady, and the other girls answer that they are twins named Tosh and Louis. The girl also says that the lady's silver hair is so beautiful after the chip, and even asks to take care of it. After this, the main character just starts crying, which shocks the girls. At this time, the maid wonders why the beautiful lady is sad, and the twins are running to the master. The man tells them not to run, otherwise they will fall, and one of them says that it doesn't matter because they came about that woman, because that beautiful woman is crying. The man immediately takes off, and one of the ladies, in shock, asks if this is really what she thinks, to which the other replies that it is. They immediately scream that they need to tell you quickly, and the other one claims that she is so worried. At this time, the maid tells the lady that everything will definitely be fine, and says the words Lersha Lesha. The main character understands that these are the words from the prayer that her Asian nanny repeated to her in childhood. Although they are not similar, she knows that this lady is also from the Asian people. And the woman at this time asks how the lady's eyes are, and whether they hurt, and also whether she wants water. But at that very moment, the gentleman bursts into the room and the maid says that he has arrived. The main character, seeing him, is a little surprised and then turns away completely, as if hiding her face. At this time, the maid claims that she will go, and Tamon approaches the lady and then kneels down next to her and hugs. Rosalyn screams what he is doing, after which she tells the guy to let her go. Tamon asks why she is crying, as if she was tortured, and wonders if she is still in pain. The lady replies that her ankle hurts, and she would like to rest some more. The girl realizes that this is the only excuse she could come up with. The man at this time puts his hand on the lady's ankle and kisses it, and the girl asks what he is doing. A while ago, someone was shouting that he was so irritated, and what was wrong with the small wound on his leg. He also wondered why the emperor was spending so much time going to a shoe store. And does the lady really think that her foot won't hurt if she chooses special shoes for it? It's just funny, because she just wants to hide her dirty leg, and no leather or silk in the world can hide this ugliness. Now the girl asks if he doesn't consider her leg to be ugly, and her interlocutor replies that it is not at all. And he wonders if she's not beautiful. She's so beautiful that he wants to kiss her. Rosalyn asks if he is really that shameless, after which the lady sighs. The main character claims that even a simple conversation with him exhausts her, and her interlocutor says that maybe it's because she's hungry. Then, since the lady is tired, they can go eat, and the girl tells him to do whatever he wants. A few days ago, someone asked if Her Majesty the Empress was really tortured, and the crazy emperor had completely lost his mind. His interlocutor showed him to be quieter, because if someone heard it would be bad. The man screamed, "Who could hear him there? Or was he afraid of the boy in the cart?" And his interlocutor claimed that this was nonsense and let him just try to report it to someone, because he would get out his famous pickaxe and cut off everyone's heads. To which the other man replied that, yes, with this Natasha, or whatever her name is, he doesn't know what will happen to this country. At this time, the boy asks how he asked Her Majesty the Empress to allow him to do at least something for her. The woman asked if he was sure, to which the boy replied that yes, and in that case. The girl asked Arson if he could take the thing to the northeastern port city of Louvre. There he will find a sea merchant nicknamed the Red Snake, and let him convey this to him before he sets out across the Tal Sea. However, the journey to Louvre and back would be very dangerous, so she wondered if the guy was sure he could handle it. The young man answered Her Majesty the Empress that he would certainly fulfill her order, after which the woman stroked his head and thanked him. The boy realizes that it was originally a necklace. However, when he wrapped it around his wrist, it turned into a bracelet. That is why he is sure that this is an unusual thing, and that is why she asked to give it to the merchant leaving for the Tal Sea. The Tal Sea is the waters surrounding Louvre, but it is also a place where monsters are often seen, and armies of several countries are sent to pacify them. And when everything is fine, active trading continues for a couple of months. This period is called the trading month, and now it is just coming to an end. They will arrive in Louvre to me in less than 10 days. Well, if they are late, then he doesn't know when he will be able to meet the merchant called the Red Snake again. The guy understands that he must make it in time. But at that very moment, the cart shakes. The guy wonders what happened there. But at that very moment, someone opens the door and claims that it looks like this boy will be useful to them. They also tell him to drag him. But the young man screams for them to wait, because he is a member of the Imperial Academy. But at that very moment, he begins to lose consciousness. Rosalyn is sitting by the sea at this time and thinking that this is what it is like. Her interlocutor claims that the lady must like the sea, but the girl replies that there is nothing in it that she might like. It's just that she sees him for the first time. Tamon wonders if that's really the case, to which the lady replies that yes. The man asks why, because Thanatos is not an inland empire. The main character replies that it is because she was not allowed to leave the creator. Her interlocutor says that this is how, after which the girl notices the dishes on the table and thinks what it is. Tamon says that it is a scallop, namely the inside of a large mollusk. It is cut into pieces and eaten raw or cooked, because it is quite tasty. And today it is especially tasty, after which the lady tries this comb, and her ass happens to be his. When the lady looks at the sea, she realizes that she is also interested in whether Arson got to Louvre without incident. She also hopes that he is safe. The lady also remembers how she was about to jump into the sea, but someone grabbed her. Tamon, observing the lady's expression, claims that her gaze has changed and wonders if she has really remembered what she was just recently going to do there. Since everything is over, he will ask why she so strongly wants to plunge into eternal sleep. The girl replies that she was unable to save anything, but her interlocutor asks if she really thinks it's her fault. The lady replies that yes, after which the man says that it is so strange, and of course he is sorry that they all fell into eternal sleep. But can this be an excuse for her end? The lady immediately jumps up and asks what excuse he is talking about. The man replies that the unforgivable sin is that she could not save them all. But who said that for all this, and for the immersion of her loved ones into eternal sleep, she should pay with her own life? Or she thinks they wanted her to end. Rosalyn claims they didn't want to go into eternal sleep, and her interlocutor claims that their immersion into eternal sleep was unfair. But does it really matter now? And the girl is so heartless, but the woman screams that it is not so. Tamon claims that if it were him, and if he had gone into eternal sleep protecting the person he loved, who would later blame himself for his end, he would even come back from hell to say that he is okay and wants this person to live peacefully because it is not his fault, so that he can continue his life brighter than anyone else and happier than anyone else. At this time, the emperor feels his feet sinking into some kind of liquid and wonders what kind of place this is. It's so damp and awful there, after which he cries out whether there is anyone there. At that moment, his father turns to him. He says how pathetic he is, and if he had another child, he would never leave the throne to him. The man also wondered if this was their golden empire, and this pathetic guy was the ruler. Because he lacked the spirit, he prayed for his marriage to the duke's daughter, who would become a worthy empress, so that he could consult with her about all matters, and in no case decide everything himself. The man also asks if his son understood. After all, he is a poor worm who was lucky enough to become an emperor. The guy then runs away and screams about what he is missing and where he is. At that moment, he runs up to the Empress, and when she turns around, the guy screams in shock that she shouldn't be alive. Rosalyn says that she returns everything he did to her, after which the Emperor is covered by red moths, and then he wakes up screaming. Natasha turns to His Majesty and asks if he really had a nightmare. The man screams that the Empress survived, and he knew it because this strong woman is still alive. Natasha also hugs His Majesty and says how poor he is, because the Empress has already plunged into eternal sleep. But her interlocutor cries out that he must make sure that this woman has truly fallen into eternal sleep. He needs to see her lifeless body with his own eyes, or she will continue to torture him. Natasha just watches in surprise as His Majesty runs away. She understands that the further he goes, the more selfish the Emperor becomes. She thought that if the Empress disappeared, then everything would be fine. But why does the woman understand that it doesn't matter? Because one day all this will belong to her baby. Let him be born soon and get rid of his stupid father. Until then, his mother will arrange everything. The main character at this time is still looking at the sea, and her interlocutor claims that he made it up. The girl asks him what he is talking about, after which the man says that he came up with a new name for her. The guy straightens the lady's hair and says that he will call her Arn Rosia Aisha. The girl asks what this means, and her interlocutor replies that he won't tell her, after which the man stretches out and says that it is so hot and sleepy there, so he needs to sleep. He also extends his hand to the lady, and she asks why. Tamon only offers her to go to bed together, but the girl replies that she does not want to sleep. The man says that then she should just lie down and rest and he will sleep. Rosalyn says that, to be honest, she misses their sea more. Tamon says that she did say it after all, after which she lets go of the lady's hand, and the main character is silent for a while. Well, at that very moment, the guy takes her in his arms and the lady screams, "Why did he do that?" Tamon, he replies that they will get there faster this way, but his interlocutor screams, "Where is he going?" and says that Tamon Crassis let her go. The man says it's so nice and invites the lady to continue calling him, but the girl only claims that she hates him. Her interlocutor claims that one day people will shout about how much they love him, and the very thought of this takes his breath away. A little while later, he claims that they are almost there, and the girl asks where they are, after which she looks at the beautiful views of the sea from the window. Tamon claims that she can lie down and look at the sea, and he will sleep and hold it in his arms. Arn Rosia from the ancient language of Amore means beautiful sea. A little while later, the main character realizes that this guy sleeps more quietly than she imagined. The girl also remembers how he asked if this could be a justification for her to fall into eternal sleep, after which the lady thinks what to do and also remembers the words that it is not the fault of that person. Therefore, he would like him to live his life brighter than anyone else, happier than anyone else. The lady understands that, because of this guy, she does not want to fall into eternal sleep. A little while later, the girl notices that Tamon is writhing in pain, after which she turns to him and asks what is wrong with him and where it hurts. The girl also understands that he is all on fire. A little while later, the man is already getting out of bed. Arn Rosia screams, asking what is happening to him, and tells him to stop at this rate. He will plunge himself into eternal sleep. Well, her interlocutor screams at her not to come closer, and she stayed in place, after which she again feels terrible pain. The main character understands that he continues to hold his chest, and maybe this is his illness. One of every generation of the Crassus family suffers from the disease, and she had heard about it, but did not think it was so serious. The lady thinks what to do, and Tamon understands that he needs to hold on so as not to lose his mind. Otherwise, he will not be able to fulfill the promise he made to her, written in the book, but without details, and giving life force to another person who is not connected to him by ties can be dangerous. The reaction from the oversaturation of life force is obvious, and since he has not released his energy recently, the heat spreads completely throughout the body. The man also understands that if he releases energy just once, it will help. Arn Rosia puts her hand on his shoulder and says that she will call the servants. Well, her interlocutor shakes his head, and the girl asks if it's really impossible. The lady also wonders if it's because of his ability. She also says that if he left and doesn't allow anyone to be invited, it means he's still keeping her a secret. The lady also asks if she can help, after which her interlocutor asks if she is serious. Erin Rosia claims that she never threw words to the wind, and Tamos touches the lady's face, after which he claims that he will not refuse then. The next morning, the girl screams for him to stop. After all, she is going to sleep, but her interlocutor kisses the lady's neck and says one more time. Erin Rosia once again claims that she wants to sleep and asks him to stop. The lady understands that she first said that she would help, but she didn't think that he was so insatiable. However, now he looks much better, and the girl thinks what a relief this is. After which she closes her eyes. Tamon turns to Erin Rosia and realizes that from a distance she seems so cold. But if you look closer, she is no stranger to flirting, and she is a very attractive woman. When he holds a lady in his arms like this, he doesn't need another paradise. A little while later, the man wakes up from that someone screams for His Majesty to wait. Theo says that the butler should not make such a conventional appearance. After all, he is not Tamon's slave, and he is not stupid. But at that very moment, the door of the room opens. The woman smiles and says that she can finally see her foreign minister. Her interlocutor asks what brought Her Majesty there so early, and the woman wonders if he said it was early. Then he asks when it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was too early. Tamon asks if that much time has already passed, and he thought he would lose track of time during his illness. Temperature Queen asks if they can talk inside, and her interlocutor asks if she really wants to talk in the bedroom, after which he suggests that it would be better to go to the living room. The woman says that she cannot believe that Tamon is not letting his queen pass and that he is completely losing his head. The man then says that this is what brought the lady there, but he was just about to show up at the palace today. The woman says that regarding her question at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, she intended to come at night. The queen also asks if he would like to become hers. The guy just closes the door and says he doesn't think he wants to. Theo claims that such a decisive refusal brings her unbearable pain. But doesn't he think that it would be even more suspicious to hide everything like this? Because she didn't come there to joke around out of boredom. The woman claims that she heard that he took something from Thanatos, where he was sent on an important mission. She kept wondering when he would come to report on everything, but the man never showed up. So what he brought is in this room. Tamon! He replies that inside there is only a poor woman trembling without stopping. But his interlocutor claims that this is not an explanation, because if it were an ordinary woman, he would not have run so frantically to the door. If inside there really is just a woman, then he should definitely marry the queen, and they will look beautiful together. Tamon! He claims that this is an absurd proposal, so he resolutely refuses. His interlocutor claims that since he distinguishes so much, it means that something is holding him back. At that very moment, she screams at him to get out of the way and asks what kind of girl he has, since he is trying so hard to hide her. But when she rips off the blanket, she is surprised and wonders if this is really a woman. At this time, Tamon claims that Her Majesty is going to hell, but the woman tells him to wait. She says that this lady has dazzling silver hair and eyes like amethysts, so she thinks that she has already heard something similar, and she asks if he brought this woman from Thanatos. The man replies that he does not know where the lady heard this false information, but no one saw that he brought it from there. He did not let her go for a second. So how did the lady know whether it was a person or a thing, and who reported to Her Majesty? Tamon claims that he does not know who it is, but intends to demand punishment for the crime of disseminating false information. Theo then says that it's good, and if he's so self-confident, then let him demand. Well, let him answer her what he brought. The man replies that it is the fur of a silver-horned deer. The woman asks what he is talking about, and her interlocutor repeats once again that he says that he brought the fur of a silver-horned deer. The queen asks if this is true and screams that they finally got the only armor that does not contain monster poison. But she had already given up thinking that they had all fallen into eternal sleep. She also asks why he didn't take it straight to the palace, but opened it. Her interlocutor asks why the Empress thought he was going to give this fur to her. And after all, he didn't get it easily either. The woman replies that she is very smart and let him ask for whatever he wants. Well, at that very moment, the woman notices something strange and is not interested in who this lady is then. Tamon replies that this woman was brought by a slave trader to Nurkis at a special price. Theo asks if he bought a woman, but wasn't he deprived of male power? Her interlocutor answers that no, and he very much has sexual preferences. This girl cost him 4 times the initial price, and it took him a lot of effort to bring her there. And this lady is really worth her money, but his interlocutor is wondering if he was interested in women, so why did he suddenly take her? Tamon answers that there are many reasons, but the most important one is because she looks a lot like someone. The queen replies that this makes sense, because even though she has not met her personally, this girl looks like Empress Thanatos. The woman also asks where this lady is from. The main character is a little silent. After which, she pulls Tamon towards her and asks in a foreign language if this is really his wife, and now she will kick her out. The man wonders if this is the language of Hirusha. Is it just a coincidence, or did the girl do this knowing that the queen was lenient to the people of Hirusha? Tamog replies that this is the queen of this country, and his silver foxes have nothing to fear. She can be sure that he does not have a wife, but the queen asks if this is really a slave from Hirush, and her interlocutor says that she looks similar, but he is not good enough in this language to say for sure. Theo asks how a girl from Hirusha became a slave and ended up there, and also asks what her name is. The main character apologizes and claims that she is not very good at speaking the official language, after which she asks if she can repeat the question. The woman claims that she asked her name. The girl replies that her name is Aranrosia, after which she repeats this again, and the man wonders if she knows that in the ancient language of the long-forgotten Amore, she became the sea because this name means the most beautiful sea. A little while later, the lady realizes that she is so tired. The girl also remembers how the queen asked if Tamon was not deprived of male potency. The lady understands that from her point of view, he is a lustful pervert and a real monster. Well, that's why she doesn't know how he has lived until now if everyone thinks that he is not interested in women. The girl also thinks what relation all this has to her. Aranrosia remembers what happened yesterday, and she realizes that he looked so exhausted that she didn't want to help him. Tamon gave her life, and she gave herself to him only once, after which the girl understands that he was talking about the silver deer. They are difficult to breed because they are very formidable and solitary. The former emperor found a way to breed silver-horned deer, and he sent children to the herd of deer, and those who managed to survive among them tamed these wild animals. These children were called Lagoresi, and now there are only 2 representatives of these people left, namely the siblings named Mir and Lucinia. The girl remembers how they said that they would follow the instructions of the Empress, and therefore asked to have mercy on them. Let her also take pity on the deer that are being hunted indiscriminately, and protect them from the emperor. The woman promised that as long as she was alive, she would protect them. Now she understands that she must do something for them. Well, at the same moment, someone else wonders what the lady is thinking about. Tamon also asks if his silver fox was so lost in thought that she didn't notice him walking around. She wonders if the lady was worried that she might be found out about the woman telling him to stop, because she doesn't want to be treated like a slave in his bedroom. Tamon asks if that's true, and he wonders if she prefers being treated like his lover. The man asks if this isn't a quick increase in her status, and the main character replies that, as she said, she's in black. She hates him. Her interlocutor asks if she is reacting too harshly for someone who doesn't like him. He also wonders if it is possible to intertwine bodies with those he hates in unbridled passion, or he is wrong, after which the lady asks what he wants. Her interlocutor claims that it seems that last time he already gave an answer to this question, after which he wonders if he seemed insufficient to the children. The main character remembers how the man said that he wants her experience, wisdom, body, and thoughts, and he wants everything that she has. Now the lady smiles and then asks if he really wants her, to which her interlocutor replies that she definitely remembers. Aranrosia asks what the catch is, and the man tells her not to even try to doubt him, because he is not playing any games with her. Well, let the girl know one thing, and that is that she is already in his hands, no matter how much she doubts and pushes him away. But she can never leave him. A little while later, the 2 are sitting on the balcony again, eating. The girl asks if what happened yesterday will happen again, to which her interlocutor replies that it is possible. The lady asks why and whether it is because of his strange ability, To which he replies that perhaps it is so. Aaron Rosia, he says that if that's the case, then it means his power has gone out from under him control when he saved her. To which he replies that she is partly right. And the girl asks what she did wrong. To which her interlocutor replies that, firstly, the reason why his power got out of control, that he did not put it into the person he imprinted. The girl asks if his power is not a divine gift, and she hears about the concept of imprinting for the first time. Her interlocutor replies that it is a little different, and before he acquired this power, he did not even know about these conditions. The girl asks if a disease that is passed down from generation to generation could be his ability. The man replies that he likes the lady's intelligence, and the girl asks if yesterday's incident will happen again if imprinting occurs. Her interlocutor replies that it is possible, and he has never had such deep feelings for anything before, so he doesn't know. But now he feels that if he doesn't do this, he won't last long. Aaron Rosia then suggests hurrying up, but the man replies that it's not that easy. As she could see, his power is transmitted through close contact or body fluids. This means that he must have a permanent close relationship with the imprinted person. The main character says that his power, like him, is absolute shamelessness, and her interlocutor puts his hand on the lady's hand and tells her to look. After all, he is so hot and full of strength, and because of his strength, he cannot build his relationship with just anyone. Aaron Rosia understands that just like when he saved her, at that moment when the two bodies merge, his power will enter the body of another person. Now, the interlocutor says that if he had promiscuous relationships, his power would manifest itself everywhere and get out of control more often than it did yesterday. The guy also understands that mixing bodies does not mean mixing abilities, but if he hadn't told her about it, it wouldn't have convinced her. So the man says he won't hold any woman's hand, and last night they paused that process, so he'll be okay for a while. The main character after this only takes back her hand, and Tamon says it's funny, and he wonders if she hates him so much that she wants to put him to sleep forever. By the way, he saved her of his own free will, and the lady looks like she's experiencing guilt. Aaron Rosia. She replies that this is not true, after which the man tells her not to worry. After all, he doesn't want to see the lady eat herself, and it's not her fault. The girl screams that it's true and all because he saved her of his own free will. She didn't ask him to help at all. The man asks if this is true, and then wonders why there is regret on her face. This means that she still feels responsible for this, and then the man claims that only he is responsible for his actions, after which he asks to be allowed to capture Aaron Rosia. A little while later, someone claims that they should leave right now, and they will sail away when they finish loading. At this time, the guy is wondering if this is really a cage, and when he looks out from behind it, he realizes that he is on a ship. The young man also wonders if these are slave traders. They let him out, and wonders if they even know that kidnapping and selling people into slavery is illegal. One of the men says that this boy is so noisy, and the other one wonders why he doesn't behave more quietly, or whether the boy wants to go overboard right in this cage. The boy then screams for the Lord to let him go, and claims that he is from the Imperial Academy. But at that very moment, they throw him something and tell the guy to be a good boy and hold it. When the young man inhales this gas, he realizes that it is difficult for him to breathe. But he needs to get out of there, but he doesn't even hear his own voice. The young man also notices how the bracelet on his hand begins to glow. The main character at this time asks her interlocutor why she should do this. Tamon. He said that when she was imprinted, his power would stabilize, and then she would be able to share it with him. Aaron Rosia. She replies that she doesn't need it, but the man claims that he will relieve her of pain and suffering or do whatever she wants. The girl claims that she doesn't need anything, after which her interlocutor asks about an animal that will always be faithful to her. Aaron Rosia claims that he must mean himself, and the guy says that he swears that he will never betray her. The girl replies that everything is wrong and if he has to, he will do it. But the man tells her not to judge by others. And should she really treat everyone who swore allegiance to her the same way? The lady replies that this is not so, and her interlocutor claims that this is true because she could trust them, but she cannot trust him. He also tells the girl to tell him if she changes her mind, because he hopes so. That it will happen before yesterday repeats itself. A little while later, one of the maids claims that a month has already passed since Aisha has been living with them. One of them claims that the appearance of the lady inspired them, and they began to write a novel. The main character wonders if this is really the case, to which the maids answer that yes, this is a dramatic and passionate novel about a silver-haired beauty who was captured in a foreign country, and the red-eyed guy who is the general of the desert kingdom. The obsessive general never left the beauty alone for a moment, and eventually she falls in love with him. They wrote about half, but the reaction of readers is too hot. One of them says that if you think about it, where did the departments live? Is she really from Thanatos? After all, that Empress also has silver hair and violet eyes. Of course, she is sure that Aisha is much more beautiful than her. The main character thanks them and states that it sounds like something interesting, after which she asks if they will show the novel when it is finished, to which they agree, but another lady who enters the room says that maybe it's not worth it. She claims that the girls didn't add the word passion by accident, and Aisha can't imagine how much obscenity there is. One of the ladies claims that love scenes between a man and a woman should not be missed, and the other one replies that this is true, because their interlocutor has 3 children, and doesn't she understand this? At that very moment, the woman screams out, "What are her children doing there?" The maids say that Arson has turned so red and are wondering what she was thinking. The woman then tells these little rascals to stop. They are much later nightfalls. The main character, lying in bed, realizes that she feels calmer there than in Thanatos. Well, is it really okay to do nothing? A few days later, one of the maids asks if Aisha wants to go for a walk. Another one says that it is true and why not fly? Don't be afraid of them, because she hasn't been outside yet. The main character understands that there are guards posted around the mansion, and aren't they watching her? A little while later, the girl is already heading out with the guard maids. Erin Rosia. She claims that everything is fine, and that she limps a little, but she can walk on her own. Her interlocutor says that the stairs are dangerous, and she is very worried about the lady. The main character wonders if it is really the guards who are sent to protect her, and if so, then there are twice as many of them as there were during the time when she was Empress. The girl also says that it is better for them to stay there, but her interlocutors ask why, since they prepared a carriage for the lady to take her to the city. One of the maids wonders if this is a carriage like the rich people have, to which the other replies that it is true. Arson Rosia understands that they are talking about a slave, but the carriage is luxurious, so unnecessary rumors may start. The girl understands that it would be better for her not to leave the mansion, but at the same moment, someone else turns to the lady and asks if she wasn't going to take a walk. Well, the lady says that there are so many people with her, after which Tamon wonders if 10 people is really a lot. The girl replies that even in Thanatos, she did not take so much with her, and now she is no longer an empress, because now she is Erin Rosia from Amore, and she is his beautiful bedroom slave. The main character claims that she now has another reason to plunge into eternal sleep, and she would rather do it than live as his bedroom slave. The man replies that he knew that the lady was smart, and she knew how to threaten him, so the modest Tamon bows his head before her. Well, the lady only gets angry from this, and when her interlocutor grabs her hand, the girl tells him to let her go. Tamon says that he will stop joking and asks her not to be angry. After all, if she leaves, she will hurt him. The girl then replies that it is good, and that is why she wants him to let go of her hand. The man asks if it is too burdensome for her to travel in a carriage, to which the lady replies that it is, after which her interlocutor suggests taking a walk along the seacoast around the mansion. A little while later, they find themselves there, and Tamon asks what the lady thinks and whether the sea is too bright. The main character replies that she would like to look at it all day, after which the lady also turns to Tamon and asks him to tell her why he did not capture her. She is not who she was when she wanted to plunge into eternal sleep, and not who she was when she wanted to live. He saved her, so he must take responsibility for it, and the girl asks if he is ready for this. Her interlocutor claims that now he sees her as she used to be, and the lady speaks well in the States. And she also agrees to what he calls imprinting. Well, in exchange, he will do what she wants. Her interlocutor claims that this sounds like a deal, and the girl claims that it is she because she wants to make a deal with him. Tamon replies that it is nice to hear, and since this is a deal, everyone should announce their terms. The man claims that he will fulfill her 3 wishes in exchange for imprinting, but the main character replies that 3 is too little, and they will settle for 5. The man then thinks that this is good, and let Rosia be more greedy. Her interlocutor claims that he agrees, but the main character at the same moment says that she has one more condition, after which he keeps telling her not to love her. She knows that the guy wants her, but hopes that this is where it all ends. Tamon understands that he knew that the lady would not want love, but he is still upset, after which the man even asks if she really thought that he would love her. But this is unheard of self-confidence. Rosia. She says that if that's the case, then she's happy, but her interlocutor asks what if he refuses her conditions. The girl claims that then they will pretend that this deal never happened. Tamon is silent for a while, and then asks if it is possible to command the heart. And what if he falls in love with her without realizing it? Then the lady claims that she herself will break their relationship. And her interlocutor asks if she really thinks that the connection with the divine power is so easy to remove. The lady claims that thanks to the sacred oath this is possible, because she too has a sacred essence and is endowed with divine power. The girl also claims that she has one supreme oath and offers to use it. The man replies that she has nothing on her and asks where she is. Rosia. She replies that it can be obtained by requesting it from the temple, and she keeps it under a different name. Her interlocutor understands that this woman is really something and says that it's good, after which he even asks what if she falls in love with him. The girl replies that this will not happen, but if it does happen, then he can do whatever he wants with her. If he wants to leave their relationship, they will continue. But if he wants to leave, they will separate. Tamon says that he likes it, after which the lady offers to formalize their deal, but her interlocutor tells the lady to wait, because she has only put forward her demands, but he also wants to express his. The girl then says that it is good, and she listens to him, and her interlocutor focuses his attention on the lady's right leg. The main character asks him what he is talking about, after which she asks if he wants her to cut it off. The brunette is only surprised by this, after which everyone asks him whether it would be better to leave both limbs. The main character asks him what he is talking about and wonders why he needs this useless thing at all. Her interlocutor claims that then both and let the lady say that she will give her to him. Rosia agrees in response to this, after which the guy approaches the lady's feet and says that this is wonderful. After all, from that moment on, this leg belongs to him, and the main character understands that now she is even more sure that he is a pervert. At this time, the emperor suffers in Thanatos' castle. He cries out that the medicine does not help and asks to give him something else. But the servant answers his majesty that the doctor said that any other medicines will only worsen the symptoms. His interlocutor curses this guy and claims that his heart is about to break, and he has to endure it, and does he really want him to plunge into eternal sleep right there? He also turns to the servant and screams that he is a bastard, because he probably works for the Empress. His interlocutor asks what His Majesty is talking about, and he is Johann and has been serving him since he was 10 years old. So how could he dare to deceive him? His Majesty claims that this lady has cursed him, and damn her, it is the Empress's curse. This woman simply does not give up. After which the man tells the guy to go and order the Sunset family's house to be burned down right now, and also cries out for them to dig up the grave of this ancient duke and throw him into the same fire. When the servant wants to object to something, the man claims that if he disobeys, he will cut off his head. At that moment, Johann agrees and claims that he will do everything. The emperor only smiles madly and claims that now they will see who will win. At this time, Rosia is eating, and her interlocutor claims that their queen is distrustful and has heightened intuition, although she is also naive. Then he was able to distract her attention to the skin of a silver deer, but this will not dispel her doubts. The main character asks why he is so confident, to which her interlocutor replies that recently there have been more observers around them. Rosia wonders why she should follow him, because as far as she knows, they are not on bad terms. Her interlocutor claims that, as he already said, she has good intuition, and the woman is inclined to trust her. There is a high probability that she suspected something was wrong when she saw them together then, but since she had nothing to charge them with, she decided to set up surveillance. The girl then puts down her fork, and her interlocutor asks why she isn't eating. Rosia, she replies that she is full, and the guy says that it must be hard to wait. The girl asks what to wait for, but at the same moment she realizes that he is talking about a connection. The lady also wonders if this is the only way to capture their connection, to which he replies that it is possible. Aaron Rosia understands that she fell for his bait again, and the man wonders if something is just wrong. The main character says that this is nonsense, and her interlocutor claims that he knew it, after which the girl is also handed an oyster by Starfish, and Tamon claims that this is a hard-to-find seafood product. The girl wonders if this is really what she calls an oyster, and her interlocutor thinks that she has never tried them, after which he offers to eat them because they have a very interesting taste. When the main character does this, her interlocutor claims, which, judging by the lady's face, she liked. This dish has a name and he wonders if she is interested. Aaron Rosia notes that yes, after which Tamon says that it is called the bride's cry, and it is usually eaten on the first wedding night, and if you taste it, the bride will scream all night. At least that's what he heard. So today they'll check the veracity of the name. The main character at that moment rises from her seat and menacingly addresses Tamon. Crassus. Her interlocutor asks if the effect has already manifested itself. He also wonders what they will do, because it is still far from night. Well, at that very moment, the main character comes up to him, and then he steps on her foot. Timur immediately grabs it and claims that he can't believe that the lady kicked him. He also says that this is an attempt on the life of a government official, but the girl tells him to stop, to which he agrees and suggests that she not get angry. A little while later, a guy with red hair is heading somewhere on a horse. When he enters the estate, the servant asks what Mr. Ronasso is doing there so late, but the man only asks where Tamon is, because he has messages for him. The servant claims that he has just gone to the bathroom, and Ronasso wonders if it is at this hour. He also claims that he will wait and asks to let him know that he is there. After which, the guy sits down on the sofa and sighs and screams, why the hell he's not coming? Is he really preparing for the wedding? It's been so long getting ready. At that moment, Tamon comes up from behind and asks what happened and why he's so nervous. Renasso says that he finally showed up, and he hadn't shown up for so long, that's why he thought he drowned. The guy with red hair also notices the smell and wonders if Tamon took a bath with conditioner, and also if he doesn't like the smell of the water. Tamon claims that people change, after which he asks what he wanted. His interlocutor claims that Her Majesty ordered the guard to be presented to his mansion, and on the way there, he saw several hiding guys, so he asks what happened. But the brunette claims that he was caught. Her Majesty was there and also went into his bedroom. Renasso asks if this is true, but his interlocutor replies that everything worked out because he said that he brought a slave similar to that woman. The guy with red hair asks if she believed it, and she replies that if that were the case, there wouldn't be so many people outside. His interlocutor says that this is it and asks what he will do, because if Her Majesty finds out that this girl is the Empress of Thanatos, she will not let her go so easily. Tamon asks what he will do if she does not let her go, and does the guy really think that someone will be able to take her away from him? The young man with red hair says that yes, he can handle it, and besides, he hands his interlocutor a roll of paper and tells him to read it. He received this document yesterday at the auction house, and it is quite interesting. Says there that the connection with the woman must be imprinted before the 6th moon rises and the 5th night ends, and to save the iron child who crossed the sea before he reaches land. If he is not saved, the woman's treasure will again fall into the hands of death. The man understands that this is similar to a prophecy, but it is also in the language of Hirusha. He also wonders if anyone else knows about this, and wonders who else has seen him. Ronasso, he replies that no one except him, and he was going to buy a present for his brother's birthday, and he got this thing. Tamon says that it's good, after which he asks to keep it a secret. A little while later, the main characters are taking a bath. The girl understands that this is just an imprint and just a deal. Well, she still thinks why she is so nervous, and a little while later she is already approaching the door. The girl puts her hand on the handle and then opens the door. But when she looks at the bed, she realizes that Tamon hasn't arrived yet. The main character sits on it and thinks what to do. The lady also remembers how the emperor burst into the room. He was not sober and screamed what kind of lifeless body this was, and how he could touch someone so pale, after which he became angry and screamed that she knew how much this suffering look, irritated him, and the purple color of the inanimate after the chip, the man screamed, so that she would not look at him, because she had neither emotions nor joy, and she is no longer alive. That is why she is silent. Now the lady understands that such treatment has become habitual for her. Well, at that very moment, someone else approaches the lady and claims that he is so flattered that he doesn't even know what to do. The man gets down on one knee in front of the lady and claims that for him, this is what he has been waiting for so long, and this is a real gift. Tamon says that she probably doesn't know, but from the very day he took the lady away, his life became something unreal. Rosia is surprised by this and then understands that she cannot fall for this man's tricks. The girl asks how he can calmly say such things about her. Her interlocutor replies that it's all his charm, after which the man even offers to have a drink to relax, and the girl agrees. And then they all clink their glasses together to celebrate the successful completion of the contract. The man wonders if this is really what he calls the newlywed charm. The main character replies that it is only between the groom and the bride, but her interlocutor claims that he heard that it can be between a man and a woman before they want to spend the night together. He also asks if he is wrong, to which the lady replies that he is, but wonders if this is a romantic moment. Tamon says his heart is beating so fast that he thinks there is definitely romance there. The man asks if he is the only one who feels this, but it makes him so sad. The main character says that when his heart breaks, then she will believe her, but her interlocutor says that such words come from such sweet lips. The girl then turns to Tamon and asks if he can stop saying such shameful things, since he is a man who knows no shame. The man wonders if these things are messengers and asks why the lady is so eagerly looking for something that is not in him. But the lady only drinks the glass and then is about to pour herself another one, but Tamon immediately stops her and tells her to stop. The man claims that he will not make fun of her anymore, so let the lady calm down, and he thinks that she should not drink anymore. The girl asks why, after which her interlocutor strokes the lady on the head, and he claims that otherwise they won't be able to relax. The lady then asks who's nervous. Tamon. He replies that he was nervous but is now calm, so he suggests starting. A little while later, the queen asks if he has never gone out, to which her charges answer that yes. The woman says that it is a bit strange, because no matter how big the estate is, the walls still suffocate, and the lady realizes that she can't find out what Tamon is doing inside. She also remembers how the man claimed that he didn't know where the lady heard this false information. After all, no one saw that he brought this girl from Thanatos. The queen was sure that this was the Empress, Neruxa's slave. She doesn't think Tamon would lie to her, but she still claims it, that sooner or later, this slave Neruxa will be caught. The next morning, the main character wakes up and, looking out the window, wonders if it is already morning. The lady also looks at Tamon. Natasha is at this time near His Majesty and says how poor he is. He is all on fire. She has no choice but to pray in the temple, and that everything is God's will. But at that very moment, the man grabs the girl by the hand and says that the emperor has lost so much weight, so her heart aches for him. The woman also says that 12 hours have passed since he lost consciousness in the morning, and the man says that means she was with him all this time. But at that very moment, he starts coughing. Natasha replies that it is natural that she should be nearby, so she asks His Majesty not to worry about anything and to sleep. A man tells his beloved that he will make her an empress. The girl replies that she stays by his side not because she wants to be one, and she just wants to be with him forever. Natasha also says that His Majesty should just trust her and not worry about anything. Well, the man repeats once again that he will definitely make her an empress, so let her wait a little, and the lady tells him to get well soon. After which, the man switches off, and the girl's face immediately changes. The woman understands that he has stained her with his sweat. She only went into the room for 5 minutes and almost got into trouble. The girl also thinks that if he really does fall into eternal sleep, she also asks His Majesty to live until their baby is born, and wonders if this power was really that weak. Natasha thinks how many people he put into eternal sleep, that he fell off his feet like that, and it's such a pity. After which, the lady looks at the portrait of His Majesty and claims that he was a man of extraordinary abilities. That is why she is now so upset. A little while later, the main character already reads the message and understands that life probably refers to Tamon. An immersion in eternal sleep is Gileotti. The Iron Child comes out. It's Arson along with her relic. The girl claims that they need to find the Iron Child. and her interlocutor asks if she knows who he is. The main character replies that she entrusted him with a holy relic, after which Tamon claims that means someone knows what's going on. The girl replies that that's why they need to hurry before the child crosses the sea. After all, they must return the relic before that time. The lady also claims that the child's name is Arson. He must have gone to Louvre at her request, and based on the written words about the sea, it turns out that he was caught in the vicinity of this city. They don't know where she is going this ship. After which Tamon claims that if he boarded the ship in Louvre, it means he has already left Thanatos. By ship, you can go to 3 bordering states, and the procedure for entering Amore is complicated, so this would be very problematic. Maha is located too far away, so it is unlikely that this country was chosen. Nilux remains, where the slave trade is thriving. The main character then asks if he will help save the child. The man then smiles and says that he will bring him in a month. The queen at this time looks out the window. She understands that after losing the war, her father had to kneel before Emperor Thanatos. In front of her, and the eyes of the entire nation, the emperor forced everyone to watch as the king kissed the soles of his boots. So 12,000 inhabitants of Amor were saved, but they took her younger sister in exchange for an alliance. Nobody knows what happened here next, and thanks to the humiliating pact signed that day, Amor was promised 100 years of peace, and they call this day a day of mourning. And the woman hits the window and says that she will definitely find her sister Lana. That famous empress and her entire family have fallen, so it is only a matter of time. When Thanatos goes with such a foolish emperor. But the woman understands that something else worries her. This is a slave brought by Tamon, because she looks very much like the fallen empress, and the woman cannot stop thinking about her. After which the queen says that they should continue to watch the estate, and when she comes out, let them bring her to her by any means necessary. And no matter what, let them kidnap her and bring her there. At this time, Natasha heads down the corridor. She understands that she does not know when His Majesty will fall into eternal sleep, so she needs to think about moving to another country and asking for political asylum. The woman heard that Amore is a suitable place to live. One of the ladies claimed that the Amorites are such dissolute barbarians. After which, Natasha thinks that, judging by what she knows, this country is just for her. Amore's foreign minister, named Tamor, Crassus. He was the only one who didn't even look at her, and the lady understands that she will need to seduce him. But at that very moment, someone else bursts into Natasha's room and hugs her. The woman then apologizes for taking so long and claims that His Majesty woke up and wouldn't let her go. The man then curses this emperor, but Letty tells him to be quiet, after which he closes the door and presses Roxonacast, tells him to be careful, because this is the emperor's palace. The man says that when the emperor falls, who will dare to harm him? Who is a civil servant? A woman answers Mr. Prime Minister, which of course, but he thinks how arrogant he is. The woman realizes that she was unable to conceive a child from Gigliotti, so she decided to use him. She also asks if he will help their baby become emperor, to which the man replies that everything will be fine. After this, Natasha smiles and understands that everything will be as she wishes. Tamon looks at the sea and realizes that the weather was also harsh that day. He heard a beautiful song and unconsciously went out onto the terrace, after which he saw that it was the Empress. The woman at this time turned to Charlotte and claimed that she had left her glass there, so she asked if she could bring it. Tamon thought about what he was doing, and he was even interested. A little while ago, the woman claimed that she forbade. Her interlocutor said that His Majesty the Emperor had already approved this agreement, and the lady was transferring the right to extract minerals to Amore. The woman claimed that according to the laws of Thanatos, the emperor does not have the right to solely dispose of the property of the imperial family registered in the accounting books. She is an empress and therefore does not approve of this agreement, and it has no legal force. Also, if they try to do something like that again at a meeting without her participation, then she sets up all the meetings with representatives of Amore. The guy couldn't even imagine that such a strong woman. It may be such a sweet voice. The lady then turned to Charlotte and asked if she knew. They say that on a full moon, when it snows, a spirit descends from the sky. Today is Grandpa's birthday, so maybe he will come to them. Tamon understands that he was sure that this woman was made of poison, but she makes such a face. Since then, everything has changed, and every time he looked at her, he felt it again. after which the man understands that this is most likely not just interest. Tamon understands that he wants to hug her, but now the lady does not need life force. Therefore, their serious Empress will not understand. After which the man takes out a dagger and understands that there is a way after all. A little while later, the main character hears some groans, and when she turns around, she asks if it is really Tamon. The man is breathing heavily and pressing his hand wound. Roja immediately jumps out of bed and asks what happened to his hand. Tamon. He replies that this was an unexpected attack and that he lost too much of the red liquid, which is why his head is spinning. He also asks the lady to heal him, and when the girl looks at his shaking hand, he wonders if anything is hurt except his hand. The lady also claims that she will take care of him, so she offers to hold her hand. At this time, the man understands that he only does it so that she doesn't find out. And is it really bad to go crazy like that? Anna is sitting on the seashore at this time. She also remembers the lady's words that if something happens to her, the girl should leave without thinking, as far as possible to a safe place, because she had prepared everything she needed for her at Gnome's house on the beach. When the woman returned to her home, her husband screamed at her, "How dare she appear there?" The man claimed that he had just received news of the overthrow of the Empress, and now that the Empress had fallen, the girl is a threat to their family. He doesn't want to see her anymore, so let Anna go wherever she wants. Well, she will have to leave all her wealth and the title of Countess Poolish. Now the woman is online on the beach and says that they wanted to come there with Rosie, and in the end she is there alone. The woman understands that then it was also on Noem Beach. She was there with Canely a little while ago. The man claimed that, frankly, he was chosen as the envoy and Lehelm. This is an order from His Majesty, and the woman understands that the delegation to Lehelm never knows when they will return. So the man said that he doesn't want the lady to wait for him and let her find a good man and marry him. Now the lady thinks that something would have changed if she had stopped him then. But then she realizes that no, and most likely he would have just fallen into a trap like Rosie. Anna then starts crying and wonders what she is even thinking about, because she has no one left. Not the one she swore allegiance to, not the one she loved and who was family. Innocent Rosie also fell into eternal sleep, so the girl understands that it would be better if she protected herself than left her all her savings. Anna understands that she has no reason to live without her mistress, after which she stands on the edge of the cliff. But at that very moment, someone else screams at the lady and tells her to stop because she has received a letter. Anna wonders if this is really what she thinks about, after which she grabs the edge of the cliff. The nanny then turns to the lady, and when she pulls her up, she asks what she is doing and if she is hurt. The woman replies that there is nothing to worry about, and everything is fine, after which she asks what kind of letter it is. Her interlocutor hands her this letter, and it says that it is for the beautiful lady from the rose forest. Anna starts to cry reading this. The main character is sitting in her office at this time and wondering if the girl will understand. When they were children, she was a hunter on a carrot farm, and Anna was a beautiful lady from the rose forest. The brother was a hedge of thorns, and the lady doesn't know how they came up with it, but she was so glad that the three of them were so close. These are dear memories to them, so she should definitely understand. The girl understands that first they will develop a plan, and since the Sunset family is no longer there are two pillars left in the empire. One of them is Marquis Promelio, who is the ruler of the northwestern lands, and the second is Duke Gertium, nicknamed the King's Dog. The girl understands that the Duke's devotion is akin to faith. As a sign that he would listen only to the Emperor, he cut off one of his ears. Their main character says that in order to lure the current head of the family to his side, interest is needed. The lady also thinks about Henrik Arpatio and realizes that he was the teacher of the current Duke of Gertium, whatever the current, the only survivor of the entire family Gertium, who fell before the tyranny of the Emperor. He was the one who gave Persogeritum safe haven from 3 years ago. Henrik Arpazio was almost sentenced to imprisonment for tax matters. Duke Geratum stood up for him by paying 10 times more than he owed them and spoke out against the imperial decision. To calm the imperial dog, interest is needed, and he knows well that Henrik is his weakness, and therefore carefully hides it. However, they were also prepared. A pendant passed down as an heirloom in the Sunset family, the cup kept by the House of Rumosh, and the flute of the Temple of Amos. These are 3 relics whose whereabouts are unknown. They are located where it is impossible to get to, and the girl understands that in order to quickly get them, you need to have the power of the government, which is also the heart of Khitan, so you need to find such a person. But at the same moment, the main character feels pain in her chest and realizes that she is as if burning. When the girl looks at it, she realizes that the name Tamona has appeared on it. The girl understands that maybe this is imprinting, and this ability is necessary and very annoying. A little while later, Tamon was at a meeting of the Order of Platanos, says that the child needs to be found. The man claims that speed and cunning are the most important thing they are pursuing smuggling. The month of trade is coming to an end, so they need to find them as quickly as possible and get the child back. Later, it will be more difficult to track them down, and someone present claims that if this child is on a smuggling ship, then these are slave traders from Nilux. The man asks why not pirates, as he said. His interlocutor replies that he recently received an answer. He learned that a ship had passed nearby 2 days ago, and the man realized that everything was as he thought. Then he says that we need to leave in the morning, and the pretext is the return of the stolen family valuables. Well, at that very moment, someone else turns to the general and asks if he understands correctly that they are all going. Remains silent after this, and someone else asks Jorge if he understands that this is an unusual treasure hunt. They don't know if monsters will appear and if anyone will get hurt. After which the man screams out that the master shouldn't worry about it because they are all knights of Platanos. The man then says that it's good and suggests that they prepare because they are leaving tomorrow, to which they agree. At this time, the servant turns to the master, and the man asks if he really wants to say something, since he has already been standing there for some time. His interlocutor claims that he simply wants to remind him that the gentleman forgot that the day of Mr. Cassian's arrival is coming soon. This time he will arrive earlier than planned. Tamon then asks when it will be, to which his interlocutor replies that he will be there in a week. The main character is in bed at this time. When someone knocks on the room, the lady tells him to come in and realizes that it is Tamon. The girl asks why he came at such a time and whether he is still wounded somewhere. The man says that it is so sad and whether they can see each other only for this reason. The main character notices that his hand is completely healed, and no matter how much she looks, she is always surprised by his abilities. At this time, her interlocutor claims that he will leave early in the morning, and the girl asks if he really is so abrupt. Tamon is wondering why she has such a face, and let the lady just not say that she is worried. The girl then turns around silently, and her interlocutor once again addresses Aaron Rosia, and he says that this face is better than any gratitude, so let her show such a face only to him. The main character is interested in what it is, and her interlocutor says that it is an expression that can penetrate deep into the soul, and also an expression that makes people perform feats. The girl at the same moment claims that she has never had such a face, but at the same moment the man lifts her into his arms. Aaron Rosia asks what he is doing, after which her interlocutor claims that he will show her her face. Well, the girl screams that she doesn't want to and offers to let her go. After which the two approach the mirror. Tamon asks, how is it, and isn't her face charming? It's alive, so it can't even be compared to the time when it was in the snowy forests. He also wonders why he will leave so beautifully, but the girl only tells him to stop. Her interlocutor asks why she was born in Thanatos Ane in Amore, and why he didn't meet her first. The man also claims that when he returns, he wants the lady to smile because he has not seen her smile yet. The man also says that while he is gone, she should not leave the house. Rumors that he brought the girl have spread everywhere, and he does not know what could happen, after which he says that there is something else, and claims that in a few days his younger brother will be there. He comes for medicine once or twice a year, so it seems to him that this will coincide with the time when he will be away. One of the men at this time urges on his horse, and then says that he is there too. This guy's name is Cassian, Crassus. A little while later, Tamon is lying in the bathtub. The man remembers saying that if a lady bumps into him, she should ignore him. The main character asked what she needed to ignore, and her interlocutor claimed that when his brother arrived, Satan would report this, and if there were any difficulties, then let the lady ask Asriel to help her. And the man also says that while he is gone, the lady should not do anything stupid. The main character asks what he is talking about. Her interlocutor claims that he is asking the lady not to get hurt and not to disappear. He also takes the lady's leg in his hands and tells her not to forget that he is the owner of this leg, so let her never forget about it. Well, when he looked at the lady's expression, he was surprised, and now he only remembers her with a smile on his face. When a man wipes his hair, he understands that if he thinks about it, then he will look at his tracks. He realizes that he cannot believe that the name engraved is Aaron Rosia and not Rosalyn, after which he thinks with a smile on his face that it is quite pleasant. A little while later, one of the maids goes around the city and claims that she is looking forward to it. When one of them enters the shop, she apologizes, and the man working there says that here are their twins. After this, the girls greet Uncle Bookman and ask if their book has been published yet. The man smiles in response and then hands over the first printed edition. He also claims that this is a very hot novel and one of the easy ones, taking the book in his hands and wondering if this is really their book, to which the other replies that it is definitely. Their interlocutor then dares to assure them that among the books published in the capital this year, this one is the most luxurious and refined. The ladies are immediately delighted and embrace each other, and their interlocutor claims that after 10 years, they finally fulfilled their desire to publish a book, which is why he is so proud of them. The girls look at their uncle and wonder if he is really crying, but the man just tells the girls to be quieter. He also claims that this is the first edition. The rest will be printed today after the first check. Let them look and leaf through it, because if there is something that needs to be corrected, then let them tell them everything will be redone. If you are going to publish a book, then everything should be perfect. The man also says that he has made many copies and is not interested in why he shouldn't fly and get a couple more. One of them claims that it is quite enough for them, and the other claims that they want to give it to someone. Their interlocutor asks if they are talking about the girl they care about, to which the lady replies that yes, and her appearance has greatly inspired them. She said that she lost her entire family in an accident, just like them. That is why they are increasingly inspired by thinking about her, and yet they were with each other. But this lady was left completely alone, according to her, and therefore they try to treat her kinder, just like Uncle Bookman treats them. The man immediately hugs the girls and claims that he is so proud of them, because his girls have grown so much. He knows that one day they will become wonderful writers because the ladies try so hard. The man also thanks them for growing up to be such wonderful girls. He claims that he is so proud of the lady. 6 days after Tamon's departure, the main character looks at the sea. She wonders if he found Arson, and the girl understands that besides the pendant that Arson had, has 5 other sacred objects. According to legend, one of them is a clock that can turn back time, and they say that when chaos began to grow in the world, the god of order descended to earth and destroyed this relic. Aaron Rosia thinks that if this is true, then we can assume 2 things. Firstly, that the relic can be destroyed, and secondly, interaction with the relic can lead to divine intervention. According to ancient records, sacred objects have special powers if they are collected together. The girl doesn't know if gods really exist, but she must be the first to find these objects. But the lady also thinks that if the answer is not in the relics. At the same moment, she looks at one of the papers and sees that it says that Emperor Thanatos will go because of the curse of the Empress. The girl understands that the curse was not cast, so she does not know how this could even be. When the lady returns to the room, Arcel tells the lady that it is as she asked. The letter was anonymously delivered by the shortest route to the recipient. She also hands the lady a bag of money and says that this is what is left. The main character then puts her hands on the maid's hands and tells her to take it for herself. After all, this is the price for her hard work and trust. The girl also says that maybe this is not the most pleasant thing, but the only thing that comes to her mind. So she asks the lady to accept it without hesitation. The woman at this time thinks where she got this money from and what kind of person she is. After which she says that it is good. She only claims that she will spend this money on whatever Mrs. Aisha wants. From now on, she can trust her with special assignments. But a little while later, someone breaks into the mistress's room. It turns out that these are 2 maids, and the girls claim that their book has finally come out. The girl asks if they are talking about the book, after which one of them claims that it is a novel that they have been describing all this time. So they want to give the first copy to Aisha, who inspired them. The main character then reads the title and claims that she will read the book carefully and thanks the girls. The girls then only admire and answer that yes. After which the woman reads that this book, to which the beautiful silver curls of the lady gracefully developed. General Caman grabbed the girl by the hand and asked how she dared to run away from him. In contrast to his harsh tone, Caman's face showed sadness and melancholy. The girl claimed that she would never submit and would run away again and again. Liella's tightly pressed lips. The main character is embarrassed when reading this novel. She also thinks about what she just read and why her heart is beating so hard. A foreign princess is brought to the desert as a prisoner, and the great commander Caman falls in love with her. Because of the protagonist's selfishness, the girl runs away, but the protagonist brings her back, shedding bitter tears. The girl also thinks that she could forgive him if she were in the main character's place. It's so hard for her to read this love story, even though there is something philosophical in it. After which, the main character hears someone knocking on her room and telling that person to come in. It turns out to be two maids again, and one of them tells the lady that they have brought her an afternoon snack. They have prepared a light mushroom soup for her. Well, at that very moment, one of them notices that the lady has read their book, and at that very moment, they become delighted with the girl. Erin Rosia, she replies that it is and it is not long, so she read it quickly. Well, when a lady wants to say what kind of book it is, the maid immediately looks at her with anticipation. The girl claims that it was interesting, and one of the maids says that they were so nervous because it was their first publication. Another claims that when it comes out, it will be the first on the lists of the street bookstores. Erin Rosia asks if this is a street of bookstores, and she wonders what kind of place this is. The main character thinks that in Thanatos, there was a high level of illiteracy, and in Amore, even non-nobles know how to write. One of the ladies at this time says that if you think about it, Aisha hasn't gone outside yet, and next month there will be a flower festival. Last year it started around this time, so it will open very soon. The main character then claims that she really wants to go, and also wonders how the ladies even wrote such a novel, because the content is very Lete then asks what it is, and the girl continues and says that it is explicit. The girls at the same moment ask if the lady hasn't read erotic novels before. One of them claims that they will bring it to her later in the evening, and the other says that they definitely will, and asks if there was anything that bothered her while she was reading it. Since they publish 300 copies at once, you need to be extremely careful. The main character then thanks them and asks if it is possible to change one scene to which they agree. After which the main character shows that she has changed, and one of the maids claims that this scene really turned out to be a little strange. Another one claims that they will fix it this way. Well, at the same moment, someone else screams for this person to open it. One of the maids at this time wonders why it is so loud outside. But at the same moment, someone else turns to Mrs. Aisha and claims that she went on her behalf. One of the twins then asks Arcel why it is so noisy there, and the woman replies that Mr. Cassian has arrived. The guy at this time wonders why he can't use the Eastern Ring. One of them claims that it is temporarily closed for habitation and that a small fire broke out inside. Well, then their interlocutor asks where the traces of this fire are, because if there are no excavations outside, then where did it go? After which the guy keeps saying that it's okay, because he's using the third floor anyway, and it doesn't matter. From the outside, it looks quite suitable for habitation. But when the guy is about to approach, the knights block his passage. Cassian is only angry about this and then asks what they are doing. Satin claims that everything looks clean on the outside, but the damage on the inside is quite serious. This could have a detrimental effect on Mr. Cassian with his bronchial asthma. The man replies that he does not smell anything and his interlocutor is lying, but the servant claims that this is an order from Master Tamon. He said not to let anyone into the eastern annex, and Cassian understands that he came only to use the eastern wing, especially because of the stunning sea view from the main room on the third floor. Satin, at this time, asks the master to occupy the western wing this time, because there grow the ammonia flowers that the master likes so much, and the view there is no less beautiful. The guy at this time wonders if they blocked the entrance because fire, but let the knights accompany him there. Leave the elite warriors of his brother. The man also claims that this mansion belongs to his brother, but he also claims it is his. Therefore, the servant must listen to his master. But at that very moment, the man takes out some letter and asserts, Tamon left a letter for his brother in this case. The boy immediately snatches the letter from his hands, after which he reads it. But then he squeezes everything and also understands that his brother could not have done this. Cassian then cries out that it's good and he won't go there and will also settle in the western wing. The main character, watching this guy, understands that he is Tamon's younger brother. The girl also asks how old Tamon's brother is, and her interlocutor replies that he just turned 20. The woman also claims that he is not as bad as he may seem. Mr. Cassian was so weak from birth that all the doctors in the kingdom said that he would not live to be 10 years old. She knows this very well because her family has served the Cassis family for a very long time. When Mr. Cassian almost died several times because of his weakness, the lady began to look not for doctors, but for fortune tellers. The fortune teller she found said that it was these that kept him away from his older brother. Therefore, the lady took Cassian and went with him to the suburbs. Miraculously, the gentleman's health improved, so the owner of the mansion remained Mr. Tamon. The gentleman had special skills since childhood. Studying, fencing, rules of etiquette, everything came easy to this child, and from a very early age he was smart and brave. The woman claims that he was such a smart boy that he studied at the capital's royal school, and when he grew up to be a great master, he stayed there. The main character then says that this is how it is, and her interlocutor claims that perhaps this is why the gentleman is so soft towards Cassian. He listens to all his wishes because thinks his little brother was sent to the suburbs because of him. Arson also says that if the gentleman finds out that she told the lady this, she will never get her head cut off. The woman also claims that he will not put her into eternal sleep, in fact, because he still needs her, after which she smiles. Cassian at this time looks at the garden and wonders why his brother closed the east wing. Even after 3 days, he did not see any construction work going on, or workers coming. So is it really true that no one is allowed in there? The man also thinks about what is so important there, and understands that he is bursting with curiosity. After which, he completely understands that his brother will not really put him into eternal sleep because of this. The man at this time heads to the ships and realizes that Cassian should have arrived by now. Satin and Arson will be kind to him, but he is worried because he is not there. At the same moment, someone tells the gentleman that there is movement and it is a monster. Someone else says that he rose so unexpectedly, and the man claims that he leaves the left one on them, and he will take the right one. He also says that everyone should raise their bows and harpoons because they will hunt the monster, to which they agree. At this time, the guy is heading across the ocean. The main character is on the balcony at this time, and when she looks towards the water, she thinks, could this guy really have gotten across the ocean? Cassian sees a woman and then cries out that he cannot believe that his brother is hiding a woman there, after which he smiles at him, but then gets a little embarrassed and asks how she got started. Well, at that very moment, someone else grabs Mr. Cassian. It turns out to be the guards. The guy then tells them to wait and asks if this lady is not Mai, or if her brother told her not to answer him. Asks again what the woman's name is, but the lady just turns around and thinks how loud he is. A little while later, the girl is already lying in bed and realizes that she thought that she would never have to deal with him again. But the guy is at the window at this time, and the lady understands that he continues to bother her. The girl also thinks that maybe she should scream, but at the same time she also thinks, what if this guy catches a cold? After which she gets out of bed and goes to the window, and her interlocutor is happy in response. But the main character only closes the window with curtains, and Cassian gets angry and thinks that she should open the door, after which he knocks. Rosalyn, at this time, thinks that she should call Arson. When the lady leaves the room, one of the guards apologizes, but asks where she is going. The girl replies that she couldn't sleep, so she decided to take a little walk, but her interlocutor claims that walking at night is dangerous. The man also claims that for the lady's safety, it is best for her to stay in the room at night. The main character replies that it is clear and asks if he can ask Arson to bring her a cup of hot ginger tea, to which he agrees. He also asks the lady to wait inside, and a little while later, the maid already enters the room. She wonders if the lady can't sleep and says that she brought her some warm ginger tea. The main character then turns to Arson and points to the curtain about her interlocutor, wondering if there are any problems with them. Rosalyn then replies that the problem is with what is behind them, and when the maid opens the curtain. Then, a visit from a gentleman, who is completely frozen. The maid immediately turns to the young gentleman. A little while later, the guy realizes that they have finally met and smiles. The main character at this time silently looks at him, after which they head off somewhere. The man notices that the lady is wearing a bandage, and the main character at this time takes the cape and hands it to him. The guy thanks the lady, but asks what happened to her ankle. The main character also silently sits back down on the couch. Cassian claims that his brother usually doesn't get close to girls, and wonders if the lady is really his lover. The main character replies that you can say that and asks if he came for this reason. Rosia understands that for everyone, she is a slave of Hirusha, which means nothing will happen if she speaks this language. The guy at this time asks what she is saying, and claims that the lady does not speak the official language. Rosia wonders why he was hiding in the room of the man he considers to be his brother's woman. The guy once again claims that he doesn't understand anything, and asks if the lady can speak the official language. Well, then he says that the girl is really beautiful, and she is more beautiful than anyone he has ever seen. The guy also claims that her hair color is so amazing and asks if he can touch it. Well, at that very moment, the lady points to one side, and her interlocutor asks if she really wants him to leave. Rosia tells him to leave and not come back, after which the guy gets up and claims that his name is Cassian Cursus. He also claims that he didn't want to offend her, and apologizes if he did something wrong. The guy says that he won't do anything to her, and he's just really curious. The young man says that he will leave, but let the lady only promise to have lunch with him tomorrow afternoon. The main character is silent for a while after this, and then agrees completely. Her interlocutor asks if she agrees, and the girl replies that tomorrow afternoon they will have lunch together, after which the guy smiles at him and replies that yes. A little while later, the guy asks what this means, because he sees many guards in front of him. The maids also greet the master, and one of them claims that her name is Tasha, and the other says that her name is Louis. Arcel and Satin also greet the gentleman and offer to have lunch together. At this point, the guy asks if so many people won't create unnecessary noise, and he just wanted to have lunch with the woman. His interlocutor replies that there will be noise, because who bursts into the room of his brother's woman at dawn? Special about it, but it's still wild and obscene. So from today on, they've decided to tighten up security, and Cassian says it's amazing. He also wonders if they were going to use about 30 people to protect some slave because of him. Satin claims that he noticed a gap in security and decided to fix it. But Cassian asks which master he should serve when his brother is absent, to which he replies that even if he is not there, he serves only one master and carries out the order that he left him before leaving. Cassian says what kind of devotion is this, and understands that it has always been like this. His brother has everything. It's a healthy body, a hero's reputation, loyal followers, and even a woman. Cassian claims that today he brought a translator, after which the man turns to the gentleman and claims that it is forbidden to bring a supporter into the house. He asks if this is true, and claims that he did not know and will be more careful next time. After which he sits down at the table and invites the lady to chat. He also tells the translator to first say that his name is Cassian Crassis, asked her name, after which he translates, and the main character also tells him something. The translator then looks a little puzzled. Cassian asks what it is, and the translator claims that Letty asked why she should introduce herself to an ignorant person. The young man immediately cries out that this is because he wants to get closer. The maid, watching this, is delighted, and the rest of the servants look at all this with sarcasm. The guy claims that he will ask the lady from his brother, so it is better for her to know his name, and she will still have to get closer to him, after which the girl puts down her cutlery, and he claims that he is very disrespectful to his brother, that is, the head of this family. The translator then translates these words. The guy screams, "What is this about?" And then she claims that he is not showing disrespect, but he only takes what belongs to him and was stolen by his brother, because everything that his brother enjoys should become his. The main character wonders why he thinks so. The girl also wonders why he thinks so about her interlocutor claims that it is because he did not even have a chance to take advantage of these opportunities due to illness. The girl also asks if he were the head of the family, does he think he could raise her status to the level she is at now? After which she claims that she doesn't think that way about her interlocutor. He cries out, "How dare she say such a thing, and what does she even know?" The guy claims that he deserves it, and screams what this impudent girl even knows. The lady claims that his brother, unlike anyone else, does not sail the sea at night to knock on a woman's window. Satin wonders what kind of pressure this is and whether the lady is really an ordinary slave. The girl at this time claims that even if he had what Tamon has, he would still never become Tamon Cassis. The main character claims that she said everything she wanted, after which she tells him not to come again. The lady claims that she does not want to deal with children who lack respect and manners. And when the guy screams at the lady again, she just leaves and then slams the door shut. At this time, someone on the ship's deck says that they must quickly get out before the fog thickens. Arson falls when the ship shakes and then thinks about what is happening there. The guy understands that he is so cold and so tired, but still has to find a way to get out. At the same moment, someone else approaches the boy and then hands her a small loaf of bread. The young man immediately thanks the girl and wonders if this child was caught too. Well, at that very moment, someone screams that a monster has appeared there, and the young man, in shock, realizes that it is the monster Herpes, so they are finished. At this time, the guy is apologizing to Her Majesty in his thoughts because he was unable to complete the task, and now because of him, everyone will be plunged into eternal sleep. But at that very moment, the lady next to him tells the guy to hold on tightly to the bars, after which the young man does so. And his interlocutor claims that the ship will soon capsize, so he should not let go of the bars under any circumstances, and then he will survive. A short time later, the ship is already sinking, and two children are holding on to the bars. At this time, the guy realizes that he is still breathing and sees that light is coming from the bracelet, after which the young man sees someone else and understands that someone wants to save them. He is so close, but at that moment, the boy loses consciousness. A little while later, the main character feels a terrible pain in her shoulder. The maid asks what happened to the mistress and if something really hurts. Erin Rosia claims that her arm hurts, and the maid claims that it looks like a trace left by a monster. She also wonders where he suddenly appeared from. The main character wonders if something really happened to Tamon, after which she asks in her thoughts that it was not a serious wound. The man at this time has a torn shoulder. The monster holds the teeth, and then he cracks them all. Taking one of the teeth in his hands, he uses it as a weapon, and then plunges this monster into eternal sleep. When the boy opens his eyes, he sees a man covered in red liquid standing on a lifeless monster and asking if he is awake. But at that very moment, the man notices something else strange. However, immediately writhes in pain. The servants immediately run up to the captain and ask if he is okay. The man understands that his heart is so hot, and probably it is from the note. When the servants turn to the master with concern, he claims that everything is fine, because it is early nonsense. The guy understands that this heartbeat is so strong, and he wonders if Erin Rosia feels the same, after which he even claims that they are returning to the mansion. The main character at this time is sitting at the table and writing something. The lady realizes that her heart is pounding so much that she thinks about Tamonu and realizes that she must trust him. Better to concentrate on your own affairs, because he is the only survivor of the royal family of the defeated country of Katona more than 10 years ago. This is a man with the gift of foresight named Hearts. The lady understands that she needs him as soon as possible. Cassian at this time looks at the sea and remembers how the lady said that even if he had what Tamon has, he would still never become Tamon Cassis. The guy also thinks what is wrong with him, and he cannot believe that the words of his brother's mistress did not affect him so much. He also thinks where this woman came from, and is she really one of the nobles? The guy realizes that he is thinking about it again. But at that very moment, the young man notices how the lady is walking along the seashore with her maids. He immediately runs up to the lady and addresses her, but the maids stand in front of him and scream for Mr. Cassian not to come closer. The guy replies that it will only take a minute, and he wants to say something, after which he apologizes to her for what happened recently and for climbing into her room. Cassian says that he doesn't think it was right, and the main character claims that she is very glad that he understood this. The young man then asks what she just said, and the maid just smiles, after which the guy asks if the twins speak the Harusha language. After all, he wants to understand what the lady is saying. But at that very moment, Arson runs up like a lady and claims that Mr. Tamon has returned, but she heard that he was seriously injured, after which the main character looks at her mark and then heads towards him. Cassian understands that the lady ran so fast and wonders if her leg is okay. At that very moment, someone screams like a lord and asks to save the captain, because he cannot see how he is plunging into eternal sleep before his eyes. Satin tells Yord to calm the council down first. He will examine the condition of their master, so let him wait. After which the servant asks the master if he can come in, but his interlocutor only tells him to bring Aron. Satin is surprised by this, after which his master tells the guy not to make him repeat himself, to which he agrees and claims that he will bring her right now. As he walks down the corridor, he hopes that the gentleman is okay, and at the same moment he sees Mrs. Aron, and also claims that the gentleman is waiting for her. The main character tells him not to worry about it, but her interlocutor claims that the gentleman is in the central bathroom and they are counting on her. Aron wonders if it's because of her excitement or her anxiety, but her heart is beating so hard. After which, the main character turns to Tamon, and he tells the girl to come in. When the lady goes inside, she sees a guy who is all wounded. Aron understands that his wounds are worse than she thought, and also says he looks bad. Her interlocutor claims that, despite this, he looks better than the lady then. The main character remembers this and is a little embarrassed, and her interlocutor asks how long she will make him wait. These wounds do not look so terrible, but he is in great pain and needs something to relieve it. The lady then goes into the water and addresses Tamon. The girl also remembers how that time when the guy left, he said that the next time he would return. Let the girl smile at him, because he had never seen the Empress smiling. Now the main character with a smile on her face congratulates him on his return home, and then kisses him. Tamon claims that he is finally home. A short time later, one of the crew members asks the maid if she is sure that the captain is okay. The woman replies that he looks quite good, and judging by his appetite too, but her interlocutor understands that his shoulder was torn by the beast, and also claims that he is glad if his condition is better than they thought. At this time, Arson is wondering if the Empress is really alive and in perfect order, but at the same moment the girl claims that she is coming, and then she says that it was the lady who came, after which the guy sees the Empress in front of him and immediately wants to cry out to her as Her Majesty. But the girl stops him and shows him to be quiet. The young man then asks with tears in his eyes if it is really her. The girl then claims that the guy went through so much because of her instructions, after which she thanks the young man for staying alive. After which the guy takes the bracelet off his hand and claims that he is returning it to the lady. Well, when the main character wants to accept it, Tamon tells her to wait and stop letting him wear this necklace. He does so and then claims that it suits the lady very well. Arson claims that this necklace saved his life. The main character asks what he means, and the boy replies that when he fell into the sea, it lit up and he could breathe underwater. The girl understands that the main property of this pendant is dry because it does not change the physical strength of the owner, but it has the ability to protect from invisible forces, and it was she who protected Arson. At the same moment, they also look at the girl, and she claims that she is a young follower of the Prophet Hearts. What does Thanatos see in the future? The main character is surprised by this, and the girl hands the lady some object, and claims that Hearts asked to give this to the lady. Aron asks what it is, and her interlocutor replies that it is an incense burner. If you click on the moon there, a black pearl will rise from the cancer, and the lady will temporarily plunge into an illusion when she sets it on fire. This will allow the incense that is breathed in to see what it wants, and this thing is a sacred relic called the Largan censer. To say something, but her interlocutor claims that Mr. Hart said that the lady is looking for sacred relics, so he asked her to bring it to the lady. He also told her about the location of the golden cup kept by the House of Rumosh. The main character understands that he is helping her with the plan, and wonders if this means that in the future, her plan will be realized. At this time, Tamon tells the lady to wait and asks if the girl's master sent him that warning. The lady replies that it is true, and he knew that the master would come to save them. If he had come to them without the imprint, no matter how powerless he was, herpes would have become a danger to him. The main character wonders why he is helping them and sent the lady to deliver this item to them. Her interlocutor replies that Mr. Hart said that for a new beginning, there must be an end. The main character asks what this means, and the girl replies that her anger will lead to an end, and her soul will return to the beginning, and the lady, like a paradox of fate, holding life and immersion in eternal sleep in both hands. Mr. Hearts was captured in Thanatos, and he said that this was something that could not be avoided, so now she asks to save Mr. Hearts. If the lady does not save him, he will fall into eternal sleep until the first full moon rises in July. The main character wonders if she really allowed herself to be caught intending to convey these words, and the girl smiles in response to this and claims that everything is fine because she was not worried at all, because she knew that they would be saved. After which she also takes the guy by the hand and says that this is a ray of hope that can shed light and overcome despair. She asks Arson if it is true, to which the boy replies that it is. A little while later, the main character looks at the sea. But at the same moment, someone again says that when the first full moon rises in July, and there are only 3 months left, the man also said that if the lady wanted, he would bring her a prophet named Hearts. A little while later, the man looked out the window and realized that the weather had also been harsh that day. When he was walking down the street, he saw 2 little girls, and one of them asked for help, and also claimed that if he saved them, they would not forget his kindness and would certainly repay him. Now the man claims that 4 years have already passed. One of the girls claims that 4 years have passed since the day they found him. The man says that this is wrong because he was the one who found them, and his interlocutor replies that yes, and he can think so too. After which, he just sighs and tells the girl to never open the door to anyone and not show that she is alone at home. Mana said that Hearts is a seer and asked if he is still afraid of something. She asked if he saw something bad in the future when she would be alone, to which the man cried out that, of course not. Another lady also turned to him and asked if it wasn't time for them to come already, to which the other replied that yes, and asked why Hearts was so fearless. But anyway, they believed in him. The man then claimed that he was touched, and Mana told him to stop. Her interlocutor immediately screamed, "How can she say such a thing about an adult?" The lady with the blonde hair at this time claimed that they were already there, and at the same moment, someone screamed for the prophet Hearts Graham to open the door. The man then told the girls that he had hopes for them and headed for the door. He also claimed that he waited for Thanatos' soldiers and then went with them. At this time, Tamon said that if the lady wanted, he would bring her a prophet, and the main character wondered what that meant. Her interlocutor replies that this means that he will take care of it, so the lady does not need to go there, and he asked to save him and not to go personally to the lady. The main character at this time looks at the remains of the scar on the guy's shoulder. Tamon says that then it is a misunderstanding. Erin Rosia wonders what kind of misunderstanding this is, and her interlocutor asks if she will remove his hand if he touches her. Is too much, and the main character is only a little embarrassed, after which she pushes his hand away, and she claims that she will go to Thanatos herself. The man asks if she really wants to go there, to which the girl replies that yes, but she needs his help, and she will repay him for this, so she asks him to help. The man asks how she will repay, and the lady answers that she still has a couple left by her grandfather in case of anything. Her interlocutor says that this is how it is, but he is not going to take payment from her. The main character asks what he is talking about. The man claims that, as he already said when he took the lady, he takes her whole life with him and takes care of his own, naturally, so why should he pay? The lady then turns to Tamon and claims that they have already discussed this, so he should not fall in love with her and let him not forget this promise. The man hugs the lady and claims that he remembers, but from now on, she should never refuse his help. A little while later, Anna is heading in a carriage, and the man who is sitting with her asks where the miss is going. The woman understands that in Rosie's letter, she asked to find Henrik Arpazio. That's why now the girl claims that she needs to go to her father because he had been friends with this man for 50 years. A little while later, Renasso asks what Her Majesty is saying about the woman, asks if she really has to repeat it twice, and tells the guy to tell him Tamon's secret Crassus. When he doesn't know what to answer, the woman claims that this is an order, so he should think again about who he swore allegiance to. A little while later, the guy is already at Tamon's and says that it's so noisy outside because festival and it's quiet there. The young man with red hair also thinks what's wrong with his interlocutor's face, and why does he look like he's about to destroy everything there? Tamon tells him to move on to the body, after which Renasso claims that Her Majesty called him. The man wonders if it is because he is the knight commander of the royal guard. to which his interlocutor replies that no, after which he tells him to listen, because the woman wants him to tell her his secret. The general smiles after this and says that she is behaving softly because she orders his friend to tell her everything. Renaso screams that if he does not do this, she threatened to send the knights to the mountains of Garcia. Tamon claims that he wanted to keep it a secret, then claims that he intentionally gave her a grade at the end of the semester in her third year at the academy. The guy with red hair immediately screams, "Is Tamon really not worried at all?" That his secret could destroy them, and if he did not do it, the queen would justifiably issue an order for their expulsion. The man replies that he will say just in case that the secret is stealing royal property and asks not to tell Her Majesty this because it is a real secret. The guy with red hair is shocked after this. Well, at the same moment, he asks his interlocutor if he is in pain early, to which he replies that no, and everything is fine. Then Renaso wonders why his interlocutor smokes, because it is poison. The man at this time remembers how the lady last night claimed that he should not love her, and he thought why he can't. Now he only claims that when he holds it in his mouth, his head feels empty, and it is more secret than he thought. Tamon also asks if the boy liked Her Majesty when they were at the academy. Renaso is then embarrassed and cries out how he can say such a thing. Tamon claims that he liked to take a nap during the day, hiding near the prayer book on the second floor, and then he saw. But at that very moment, the guy with red hair covers his mouth and tells him to keep it a secret. He also screams that he is not revealing Tamon's secrets. Well, his interlocutor thinks that he didn't come there for that. Renaso claims that he swore allegiance to Her Majesty and promised to protect her for the rest of his life, but he believes in his friend. Tamon then smiles and says that keeping one secret or another is hard. And for sure Renaso Bachel had a hard time. The guy thanks his interlocutor for noticing and asks what they will do. The man replies that first he will talk to his beautiful and noble slave because it concerns her. The guy with red hair screams, "Since when have they been in such a relationship?" And his interlocutor replies that it happened that way, and neither he nor she wanted it. Well then, he asks, does it matter? After all, if this woman were happy there, he would never have brought her. And if you think about it, the guy said it was noisy outside because of the festival. The man also washed his face gold. Did the lady ever really go outside? A little while later, one of the maids says that this dress looks so good on the mistress, and it seems to her that no matter what Aaron Roja wears, she is still beautiful. At this time, the main character is wondering where they are going, and one of the ladies asks if the lady hasn't heard yet. A festival going on in the capital now, and it will last 5 days, and today is only the first one. During the festival, the capital is transformed, and there is a special spectacle on the last night when they light candles in paper lanterns and launch them into the sky. Aaron Roja understands that she is interested in what these festivals are like in other countries, and whether it will be as lively and noisy as in the books. At this time, the maid wonders if the lady doesn't want to go, and the main character replies that if you don't answer, she's just interested in how everything is outside, and if the maid is ready, then they can go, to which you agree. At this point, the brunette understands that he needs to try to hide as much as possible, because if he gets caught, it will be difficult. He also understands that the lady's desire is very personal, and he hoped that it would be something more intimate. However, this will not happen. But when the man is about to climb into the carriage, someone turns to his brother. A little while later, Tamon. He asked the servant to tell him what had happened in the estate in his absence, to which the man replied that they had sealed the east wing. But Mr. Cassian still made his way into Aaron Rosia's room. Nothing happened, but this was too much. At this time, the man turns to his brother and says that it is high time for him to return, because he does not understand why he is still there. The young man cries out that this is his estate too, but his interlocutor replies that he is not the owner and that he did not show him due respect. The guy immediately asks how his brother can tell him such a thing, because he is the same Crassus as he is. The man then tells the guy to answer who the real owner of the shoes he is wearing is. The young man replies that it was his from the very beginning, but his brother replies that it was not. And if we judge by his logic, then it first belonged to the shoemaker who made it, and the same applies to his clothes. Tamon tells Cassian that he is intolerant of those who encroach on what was his from the very beginning, but one time he will show him mercy, since the guy is his only relative. However, let him know that there will be no second chance, because he continued to take care of him at the request of his father and mother until today. After which the man states that he will go, but at the same moment the maid turns to the young master, and then she sees that he has completely lost heart. The woman immediately takes the young gentleman by the hand and offers him to go because she will make him hot chocolate. A little while later, the main character is already at the festival and thinks that she should go after the prophet, but nothing will happen after one day. At that very moment, someone knocks on the lady's carriage and says that she is just in time. The man also says that the twins can rest, but let them be careful, to which they agree. Aaron Roja, at this time, thinks about where to start, after which the guy extends his hand to her and claims that he cannot lose his precious imprinted pair. Aaron Roja thinks about these words and then extends her hand to him in response, and realizes that she likes this name. At the same moment, the lady turns her attention to the dancers. Tamon claims that flower dances have begun, and when the girl asks what it is, he claims that in Amore every year the flower of the year is determined. Therefore, each time the dancers perform new dances symbolizing one or another flower. The main character says that it is very beautiful, and the man asks if she wants to visit the market further, after which they head there, and the girl sees a food stall. Tamon asks if she wants to try anything. The man working there greets them and also claims that he has very tasty shashlik. He also asks if the lady wants octopus or a rock show. The girl asks what it is, and the man replies that it is grilled pork thighs marinated in sauce. It is truly delicious, especially with the combination of baked fruits. Aaron Rosia says to give her 2 rock shows, to which he agrees. But when the man wants to hand over the money, the lady tells him to wait because she wants to buy it for him. Since she knew that there would be a festival today, she took some money and then the girl buys them, and also asks if she can have another one with an octopus, to which he agrees. After which, the lady hands the octopus shashlik to Tamon, and he asks if this is also for him, to which the girl replies that one will not be enough for him. The man asks if this means that it is his lady, and she replies that it is. After which, he starts eating, and with a smile on his face, he claims that this is the most delicious octopus shashlik he has ever tried. At that very moment, they hear someone shouting in greeting to the gentlemen and ladies and telling them to pay attention. They have arrows from Laxion, given by Her Majesty the Queen. This is an event where treasures made by Turs, the master of royal weapons of silver and gold, are at stake. Let them not miss the archery competition hosted by the royal family. The brunette says that this is an archery competition, and if you think about it, the Empress of Thanatos seemed to say that she was a master of archery. The main character replies that it is talent. Then she asks if he wants her to demonstrate it. The girl understands that she was thinking about preparing the bow, but she was so pleased to see the surprise on this man's face. The guy then replies that it does sound interesting, and a little while later, the host says that the archery competition will be divided into women and men. They can only shoot the arrow 3 times, and the team that scores the most points will move on. In the semi-finals, they will have an unusual target and shooting at objects, so all the fun is yet to come. The man also notices that there are 4 men and 4 women, and a total of 8 participants. Then he says that their amazing talents should be directed to these interesting subjects. Someone cries out that this is already too interesting. Did they sign up for this? And the man replies that nevertheless, an apple is quite a solid target that can be hit. An apple will be worth 10 points, a strawberry will be worth 20, and grapes will be worth 30 points. The first participant will be Ronald, after which the man punches the apple right through, but then unfortunately misses the strawberry, after which he leaves with his beloved, and a little while later someone else claims that he is giving up because he will lose anyway and does not want to show it in front of everyone. When this guy's girlfriend notices how everyone is giving up, she says that perhaps Ronald will take first place. Well, at that very moment, another lady says that not yet, because not everyone abstained. The woman releases an arrow, and the main character realizes that it flies straight, after which it pierces the strawberry. Everyone screams what a talent this is, and one of the spectators claims that she looks like a foreigner, so what a pity. Another lady claims that in this case the treasure will go to a person from another country, but only a grape is left. When the woman shoots an arrow, it passes by a grape and hits it. Someone watching screams that she almost hit it, and that these are such amazing abilities. At this time, the host shouts out whether there are any more volunteers and is about to name the winner. But at that very moment, someone else says that she is there. It turns out to be the main character, and the girl claims that she will participate. The girl also mentally asks the deity to grant this hand victory. One of the spectators at this time tells his interlocutor to look at the lady's leg and asks what the wounded woman can do. Tamon then only frowns. This is also when he tells the lady to aim and hit the fruit she wants, after which the girl pierces the strawberry, and everyone screams that this is amazing. The host states that now the participant, driven by her impulse, aims at the grape and they will see if she can hit the target, after which the girl releases an arrow and it cuts the grape into two parts. The spectators scream that she hit that small grape and they cannot believe that such an amazing person is in front of them. The host at this time asks everyone for attention and claims that the lady who amazed everyone in the semi-final has declared that she is giving up her place, and in this case, Ronald from the men's team and the silver-winning powerful woman from the women's team will go to the final. But when he wants to talk about the path to the finale, suddenly a crack begins to appear in the sky, after which monsters jump out from there. The main character is shocked by this. People run away in panic, and Tamon screams out Aaron Rosia. Well, when he looks at her, he sees that the woman is aiming with a bow and is about to shoot at the monster. At that moment, Tamon touches her bow and the arrow hits the monster's wing, and not its head. The girl screams, asking why he intervened, and claims that they need to deal with these monsters quickly, but the man replies that this is the soldier's concern and the lady needs to run. The main character claims that there are too many civilians there because of the festival, and if the monsters are not dealt with now, the number of victims will be huge. The man screams that there are more than 30 monsters against them with her, so they can't handle them all at once. He also cuts this monster, and then everyone sees that another one falls near him, because there are 2 arrows in it. Amore turns to Aaron Rosia, a little surprised, and the girl only tells him to watch his back better. She claims that she will not fall into eternal sleep, and he himself said so. So the girl offers to save the people, because they are the only ones there who can do it. The man then sighs and says that it is a curse. The queen at this time wonders if a breach has opened in the square. She also says that all the guards should be gathered, and the knights should be sent there immediately. The woman also says that this happened right during the festival, and tells them to quickly find Renaso and Tamon. Well, at that very moment, someone else runs up to Her Majesty. The woman asks why they are there, because they are supposed to be watching Tamon, and when they are going to say something. The woman then states that it is clear, and he is already in the square. The woman also says that as expected from his devoted disciple, so she will also go to help him. Well, at that very moment, one of the ladies stops Her Majesty and claims that Tamon is not alone there. Renaso is there too. But if so, how cute they are. Her interlocutor replies that it is not Mr. Renaso who is there, because Tamon is there with his silver-haired slave. The woman then asks why they stopped her, and the servant claims that it is just a little strange, and asks the lady to come to the window. When the woman looks out the window, she is surprised. The main character at this time thinks that, of course, it is good that only small and weak monsters came out of the breach. They can all be simply burned, and fortunately, the arrows for the competition are made of wood. After which the lady shoots another monster's arrow and it falls. Well, at that very moment, the girl hears someone's muffled scream. The lady immediately turns to Tamon and sees that he is at his limit. But the man tells the lady not to worry about him and to think better of herself. The main character realizes that she needs to deal with the remaining arrows. Well, when she puts her hand in the case, she understands that it's the last one left. Again, if only there were more of them. Well, at that very moment, someone else claims that they will take care of the rest. It turns out to be the Empress, along with the knights and Tamon bows, and also says that Her Majesty is there. The woman claims that they will talk when they are completely finished there, and she also addresses the Empress of Thanatos, who is immersed in eternal sleep. After which the woman, with the help of her powers, deals with these monsters, and one of the men screams that they have only heard about such things. And this is the power of the elements, after which the woman begins to use the power of lightning and deals with these monsters, and when she finishes, she says that they are returning to the palace. A little while later, these two stand in front of the queen, and she thinks what an idiot she is, because she fell for that performance when the lady asked if this was really Thanatos' wife. Now the queen claims that they deceived her, and the main character replies that she needed to save her life. The queen also tells Tamon that she is disappointed about her interlocutor, telling Her Majesty that he is sorry. The woman claims that this is even more burdensome than his betrayal, to which he replies that he will not make excuses and will only ask Her Majesty to be as merciful as the sea is wide. The woman immediately gets up from her throne and screams at Tamon that he is just an idiot. But the main character tells her to wait and asks why the lady doesn't listen to her first. The woman tells her not to even try to deceive her with her meaningless speeches. But when she looks at the lady's hands, she realizes that they are all covered in bruises from arrows. The queen then lets the guy go and asks if the lady didn't say that she deceived her in order to survive. Well, now let her try to survive somewhere else, and if she knows only mourning, then she knows how much she hates her country. Arson claims that she is going to plunge Gileoti Thanatos into eternal sleep, so she asks him to extend his hand to her. The woman cries out that this is madness and wonders if the girl really thinks that she will believe her so easily. Arson wonders if there is no reason for this, after which her interlocutor asks if she has already forgotten who she is. The main character answers that it is possible, and she is the eldest daughter of the Sunset family, forcibly married to Gileoti Thanatos. Having lost her entire family and loyal subjects at the hands of her husband, the emperor, she is the Empress named Rosalyn, the fifth Sunset. And now the girl claims that she has renounced her past and her name during the commission of revenge and the overthrow of Emperor Thanatos. Her name is Arson, and this is who she is now. The queen says it's a sad story, but claims the lady has no evidence to believe it. The girl then says that if the queen waits 2 days, she will provide something that will make her believe. The woman asks if she is talking about 2 days, and the main character replies that since everything has opened up anyway, then one day she is no longer a mouse in a mousetrap, so she asks the woman to wait until 2 p.m., and in any case, she has nothing to lose, to which she agrees, but states that she will only give her 2 days. A little while later, the main character is heading in a carriage and realizes that she has not been so worried for a long time. Tamon at this time turns to the lady and tells her to give him her hand. The main character understands that now she will accept his help without hesitation. The man also asks if it hurts, to which the lady replies that it hurts, but he asks why she didn't show it. Arson notes that nothing would have changed. Have found out anyway, and the girl says that if you think about it, doesn't it hurt him too? Tamon. He replies that he is fine and will soon be better, but the main character only gets closer to him. Her interlocutor asks what she is doing, and the lady asks if he didn't capture her to use in such situations, after which she offers to heal each other. One lady at this time goes on a ship. She says that she hasn't been there for so long, and thanks the Lord for allowing her to get there safely. The man at this time approaches the girl and asks if she is cold. She answers that she is not at all and everything is fine. The lady also claims that he must be nervous because it was so long ago, to which he replies that yes, and he is nervous because it is all a bit complicated. The woman then asks anyway why they don't do it, since they haven't been there for 5 years. Her interlocutor asks if she's not nervous. The woman asks if he has forgotten how brave and courageous she is, after which she insists that everything is fine. The lady also wonders if it would be better to finish things before they meet their children. The man replies that he thinks this is what needs to be done, after which he says that they need to move forward because everyone is waiting for them. A little while later, the main character looks at the sea again and understands that everything is fine because she will definitely come. At the same moment, someone else turns to the lady and the girl asks if something really happened. Arson replies that they have a guest who wants to see Arson. This girl said that the lady will recognize her if she says that she came from Maha. The main character understands that she is finally there and says that it is good, and also let the woman lead her, and she wants her to also call Tamon. A little while later, the main character enters the room where these people are, and the woman with red hair is immediately moved and turns to Her Majesty. However, the main character shows her to be quieter, and tells the lady to call her Aaron Rosia. Her interlocutor wonders if this is the lady's new name, and the main character asks if they are okay after such a long journey, to which the girl replies that of course, because she is very strong, and she is only 8 months pregnant. The baby kicked so hard that she decided that there was a boy, and she asks Tarzan if this is true. The main character at this time says that they have not seen Tarzan for a long time, and the man apologizes and claims that he found out about everything too late. Well, the girl claims that she is no longer the one who needs to be protected, so he has nothing to apologize for. The lady understands that Tarzan Ohim is one of the supporters of the Sanit family. He is the eldest son of the Ohim family and a knight accompanying Rosalyn. One day, a woman approached Tarzan and claimed that she had a very personal request for him and asked if he could fulfill it. The man asked what kind of request this was, after which the lady replied that there was someone whose protection she would like to entrust to him, and she had those who could take care of her. But this person did not have such people. Therefore, as the person she trusts the most, he must protect himself. Her interlocutor says that 5 years have passed since then, and the main character claims that if she had known that they were on our axes, she would never have called. The woman immediately replies that she did not, even if she had given birth. If the lady had called her, she would have come running, after which the main character smiles. At this time, someone else enters the room and claims that he was told that they had guests. It turns out to be Tamon, and the man greets these two. He also shakes Letty's hand, and she says that they are not seeing each other for the first time, but he did not recognize her. The man then asks if this is really what he thinks, and the main character claims that this is Rana Lantifu, the younger sister of Queen Amore, who successfully left Thanatos. The woman wonders if he remembered now, because he could have seen her with her sister several times. The man then cries out that of course, and this was the reason why the girl was so confident in her victory. The queen at this time sits on her throne and screams why they are not here yet, and have they not woken up yet? Well, at that very moment, someone turns to Her Majesty and claims that the minister has arrived to see her. The woman claims that they are late, but her interlocutor claims that the sun has not yet set, and replies that she did not ask Tamon. The main character then apologizes for making her wait, and the woman asks if the people behind her are sufficient evidence, after which she says that it is good, and asks who they are that say that can touch her heart. She is interested to see their faces, after which the woman tells them to raise their heads. Well, when they do that, the lady is shocked. She immediately claims that she can't believe it, and wonders if it's really Rana. Her interlocutor at that time says that she's still there, and she talks about the wound the girl got while training with her on swords. Mom scolded her so much, and the girl asks if she remembers, after which the woman can't hold back her tears at all, and hugs her sister. The girl says that if her sister hugs her like that, the child will get scared. The woman asks if she is talking about a child, after which her sister claims that she is pregnant. Theo asks if she is married, to which the girl replies that she is, after which he introduces his husband. The man also claims that he is glad to meet their queen, and claims that his name is Tarzan Ohim. But the queen only gets angry and grabs him by the clothes and screams whether he knows who he has defamed and how dare he do such a thing. Rana, at the same moment, turns to her sister and tells her not to do this to him, after which the queen lets him go, and Rana asks if her husband is okay, to which he replies that everything is fine. The queen then apologizes and claims that she is just so excited. Well, her interlocutor screams that sister has always been like this, and she, like a racehorse, gallops as soon as she sees someone next to her. The royal family instead of her own, and the people instead of herself, and has the country always been more important to her? The woman replies that this is true, because this is how a royal person should be. But her interlocutor says that sister is more like a queen than anyone else. That's why her parents sent her to Thanatos. The woman immediately grabs her sister and asks what she's saying and if it's true. The girl replies that this is what she heard. Her and her sister to Thanatos. Well, then the girl says that everything is fine because she made a conscious decision when she left Amore. And besides, there is no point in talking about it now. Theo then screams at Rana. But the girl claims that they haven't seen each other for so long and wonders if her sister is continuing to scream instead. She also tells the girl not to be rude to her husband, and she knows that she is a queen. but this man means everything to her. And then she also turns to Her Majesty Lady Erin Rosia, and also says that she became the savior who protected her life, her husband, and their future. A princess from a foreign country who studied at the academy was a weak link who had nowhere to complain, even if she was offended. This is exactly what fate became for her in Thanatos. The imperial family that took her captive showed no interest in her. Everyone in school was whispering, wondering if she was the princess from Amore. But now she is no different from a slave. In fact, her life was worse than theirs. The Karank in the yard of Nina, and everyone cast contemptuous glances at her, and also whispered behind her back, while she trembled from loneliness. The first person who decided to get closer to her was Lady Rosalyn. She was the daughter of nobles of the Empire in the ice. The woman also asked that if the lady did not mind, then could she teach her the language of Amore? After all, she had heard that the ancient language of Amore was known only to members of the royal family, and she wondered if the lady would tell her about it. The girl claimed that her recognition in this was small, and she did not devote all her attention to it. After which the main character asked if she would like to fly to study with her. Wound replied that she would be very happy about it, and so they became friends at the academy. The girl thought that all the bullying was already behind her, but a little while later, the lady heard a rumor that Rosalyn would become the crown princess, and another girl claimed that her parents told her about it, so she left the academy. The rumors were confirmed, and Rosalyn left the academy, and as soon as she left, the bullying resumed. Someone threw a textbook at her and asked the abandoned princess if she considered herself a real royal. She came to a foreign country, so let her sit quietly. The girl understood that she no longer had the strength to endure this, and she had to escape from Thanatos. That night, she went to visit Rosalyn, and the main character said that she was sorry that she had to leave the academy without telling her a word. For personal reasons, her thoughts were occupied with other things. She also asked if everything was okay with the girl at the academy, and at that moment, the lady did not know why, but her eyes were filled with tears. The girl couldn't stop, and Rosalyn silently held her in her arms. The main character was interested in where she wanted to go, after which she claimed that she would help her if the girl had a place where she wanted to go, and she asked if it was Amore. Rana replied that she wanted to go to Maha. She had many good childhood memories from that place. The main character replied that it was good, and she understood, but asked to promise her one thing. Let the girl write to her from time to time, so that she knows how she is doing, and she will look for a reliable messenger in Ma, so that they can contact, even if not often. Rosalyn also claimed that she knew it was painful, but asked if the lady could wait 3 months, because she wanted to see her off, but could only do so as the crown princess. By that time, the girl would be of age and would be able to legally enter the country. 3 months later, the girl left for Maha with Tarzan, who was the escort knight assigned to Rosalyn. The woman claims that she found her happiness in Makkah, and in any case, there is no place for her in this country. She has more memories of life in the day of her state than there. So what can we say about the rest? She is no longer Rana Lantifu of Amor, and if it were not for the help of Aran Rosia, Amor until her immersion into eternal sleep. Theo then asks how Rana can say such a thing, and she probably says it because she does not know how long she has been looking for her. Rana asks when she looked for her, and was it really after she became queen and everything got better? When she was at the academy, Taupe wrote her so many letters about how much she missed me, but she didn't answer a single letter. She knows that sister was probably busy with government affairs instead of her sick father, and is sure that this is all because of her busy schedule. Well, she turned away from her. Then the lady had a harder time, and she felt even more lonely. The woman then replies that she has nothing to say, and her sister claims that everything is fine because it's all in the past. Well, she still turns to her sister once again, and claims that if she still feels affection and warm feelings for her, then let her not point her sword at the one who became her only savior when she was in danger. That's the only reason she came back there after so many years of playing hide-and-seek, and all her rights as a member of the royal family, and her sister's feelings of guilt towards her. She also dedicates compensation for the damage to the princess, who was taken prisoner by a foreign country to this man. And to do this, despite her position, she has come such a long way. A little while later, Rana states that they are returning to Maha, and she was pleased to talk with her sister all night after a long separation. The woman wonders why her sister won't stay there. Acta replies that as Theo sees it, she is about to meet their child and also wants him to be born in Mahe. After which, she tells sister to take care of herself, and a little while later, the main character also comes to say goodbye to them. She thanks the lady and claims that if they need anything before leaving, they should just say so, because she will do everything in her power. Rana asks if she really will do everything. Then, she wonders if the lady could bless her name for their child. The main character wonders if it is really her name, to which the girl replies that it is, and claims that this is a tribute to the Empress of Thanatos, whom she loved with all her soul and who is no more. But the girl asks what if it is a boy, to which her interlocutor replies that then they will give him another name, but still, if it is a girl, she would like to give her the name of the Empress, which she considers the most noble. The main character asks if this is really what they both want, to which the girl replies that it is, and Aran Rosia says that if so, then good. After which, Reina thanks Mrs. Aaron Rosia. Her husband at this time says that he is so embarrassed. Well, she wonders if he can add anything else. The main character asks what he wants to add, and the man replies that the person he wants to address is next to her. He also says that as they know, Mrs. Aaron Rosia is a person who, no matter what, goes towards her goal. Even if she is scared, she will not show it and will endure all the pain alone. Although he is ashamed, he would like to shift the responsibility that he should have borne himself onto Mr. Tamon. The main character, a little puzzled, turns to Tarzan, and Tamon just smiles and says that they don't have to worry about that because he will hold her tightly until the very end. Rana says that they look so good together, after which they say goodbye. Their main character thanks the girl again. A little while later, the main character sits in her office and remembers how a little while ago the prophet's heiress claimed that Mr. Hartz told her where the golden cup was. It is located in the depths of the Cassian part of the pinch day tree, struck by lightning, and there will be the tomb of the king. In the tomb of the king, worshipping the sun, and buried the golden cup. Aaron Rosia realizes that she must find a place famous for its cassia trees. In this golden cup, the most powerful poison in the world is created, and the only thing that can neutralize this poison is the fourth sacred relic called the red dagger. In order to preserve all the sacred places until the 7th month, you need to find and get both of these items. The lady understands that there are rumors that one merchant from Nerux collects daggers, after which the girl thinks whether they will be able to do all this in 3 months. The lady also understands that she needs to clear her head, and she will go and admire the sea. The girl also remembers how Rana addressed her, and she wondered if the lady knew the meaning of the name Aaron Rosia. The main character answered that she did not, and asked what it meant, to which her interlocutor replied that in the forgotten ancient language of Amore, it means the most beautiful sea. And it can also mean shining sea, and now the main character, having breathed fresh air, says that she will go to sleep. The next morning, the lady wakes up next to Tamon. The man strokes a lock of the lady's hair and remembers how the girl told him not to fall in love with her. After all, he should not love her, and later forget about this promise. The man understands that in order for the lady to be near, he will not call this feeling love. After which, the general also hears someone heading down the corridor, and when the servant is about to knock. Then the man himself opens the door and tells him to be quieter, and also wonders if something really happened at such a time. Satin replies that this is a message from the palace, and when the guy returns to the lady, looking at her, he thinks that if God really exists, then let him heal her ankle. The man kisses the lady's foot, and then tells Aisha that he will return soon. A short time later, he is already fighting the queen with swords. When the woman attacks him, Tamon deftly blocks the blows, hits him again, and the guy realizes that she called him early in the morning to fight, and she is very angry. But at that moment, the man tells her to stop and knocks the sword out of his mistress's hands. The woman asks what he is doing because they are not finished yet, while the man raises his hands and claims that he is not trying to continue this awkward in general, and therefore gives up. He also wonders if that was the idea. Theo swears and says that he still noticed, but then says that it will end too quickly and is not interesting. Tamon asks if it will last longer, if he endures it, or if she is sure that she will not give in sooner. The woman then only gets angry and raises her weapon and says that he is right, Then she will beat him again and again until the guy himself begs for mercy. The man tells her to start, to which the lady agrees and claims that she will hit him as much as she wants. When she swings, she asks if the guy is ready because she will do it hard. A little while later, the main character wakes up and realizes that she slept late again. The lady understands that she needs to check the schedule and hurry, but when she gets up on the floor, she wonders if her ankle hurts. Rosia understands that she does not have any pain that she feels in the morning. And if you think about it, since when did she stop being sick? At that very moment, the maid comes into the room to the mistress and claims that she brought her soup for breakfast. The girl asks what about Tamon, to which her interlocutor replies that the master left early in the morning for the palace, and Her Majesty was waiting for him from dawn. The main character thinks, is it really so interesting to her why she called him? Well, at the same moment, another lady turns to the mistress, and when the main character looks at the maid, she asks what it is. The woman replies that the royal family sent the lady a gift, and the girl asks if this is really so, and also wonders if Tasha can open it there. To which the maid agrees, and when she opens this box, the main character asks if this is really a prize from the competition of that festival. The girl understands that the pink tip with a black sheen is outdated, and it must be made of laxicon. At this time, the maid tells the mistress that there is also a letter. When the main character reads it, it says that she is returning them to their rightful owner. The woman is also grateful to the lady for her courage on the day she burned her fingertips, and the main character understands that everything is as she thought. This woman is a smart queen, and she did not even think that in this way she would express her consent to the creation of an alliance. The maid at this time says that if you think about it, today is the last day of the festival. Rosia understands that thanks to the fact that the monsters were dealt with right away, the festival was not cancelled. The girl also wonders if they didn't say it was the last day. They have to launch sky lanterns, to which the girl replies that for sure, and that is the very last event of the festival. The maids say that they will ask Satine and Arcel for permission to go out. Well, at that very moment, the main character tells them to wait. The maids ask why, and does the mistress really not want to go? But the main characters do not answer that it is not about this, and it is just what happened on the first day of the festival. She would like to cover her head and face, after which the woman asks if they have anything suitable. She also claims that she would like to take the children with her and asks if they can prepare everything, to which they answer that of course they can. A little while later, they are already dragging the follower of the prophet and Arson. The boy asks if they can say when they are going, but one of the ladies asks if they haven't heard, because they are in a hurry, because Mrs. Rosia said she wants to go for a walk with them, and she is already there. After which, the main character turns to Arson and Hannah. The boy, looking at the lady's outfit, wonders if this is Mrs. Rosia, and the main character replies that she was in such a hurry to get ready that she didn't have time to explain anything to them, so she asks to forgive her. The woman also claims that they are now going to the festival. They will look at local attractions and launch sky lanterns. Well, when the girl looks at Arson's slightly reddened face and asks what happened, the boy answers that it is very interesting and simple. He sees Mrs. Rosia in black for the first time. The main character wonders if she looks strange and claims that she likes it. The boy replies that no, they are just not used to it. The maids immediately say that everything suits Mrs. Rosia, but at the same moment, someone else breaks into the estate. It turns out to be Tamon's brother, and the guy claims that the lady lied to him. He also asks why the girl is silent, and is it really not mine that is pretending this time? The main character replies that no, and she is not pretending. And her interlocutor asks why she pretended not to speak the official language. Rosia replies that she thought that if they did not contact, there would be less trouble, but she was wrong. The lady also says that even though she did not answer him, but the guy still brought problems. Cassian asks what she is talking about the lady, tells him not to worry about it, and wonders if he was the first to be rude to her. So she thinks that this is the end of the conversation, and they will go. The man then yells at her to wait and asks if she is going for a walk. The lady asks what happened after, which the guy claims that he will go with her and will protect the lady because she needs an escort anyway. Well, at that very moment, someone else screams out for Mr. Cassian not to worry, because he will take care of Mrs. Aaron Rosia. The main character then turns to Cassian Crassus again and tells him not to use her to attract his brother's attention, after which she turns around and enters the carriage without letting the guy say a word. The girl also turns to Kokra and offers to go on a journey, to which he agrees. Cassian at this time begins to merge and says that the lady will still look at him. After all, does she really think that she can continue to behave like this? A little while later, the Empress already throws down her sword and says that the guy is just a monster. She also says that she invited a doctor, so let him take care of the treatment and leaves. Tamon says that the queen really thought of everything. The guy also wonders if she really wanted to beat him, to the point that he would need a doctor's help. And the woman tells him to put aside his arrogance, because if he makes a mistake again, she will beat him up again. The young man asks if she feels any better, to which she replies that she doesn't. Well, they'll finish for today, because she's tired and doesn't want to beat him anymore. Tamon claims that she needs to train her endurance, and the woman claims that she told him to shut up. Then she turns to Tamon again and asks if she can trust him, after which her interlocutor replies that no, and she can't. The woman screams in shock, asking what he's talking about, and says what a shameless person he is, even when she gave him a chance. But at the same moment, the guy tells her not to trust him or Renaso or anyone else. After all, Her Majesty can only trust herself. The woman smiled after that and claimed that she did not expect less eloquence from him, but she herself will decide who to believe and who not to believe, and she claims that she believes Tamon. No matter how blind he is to women, well, she is sure that he will not betray his country. Tamon at this time thinks about the right word that he is blind to women and understands that perhaps this is so, and also he thinks that this can already be called love. The main character at this time is heading to the festival. Arson, looking at all these things, claims that it is incredible, and the girl says that it is a market. The young man says that he has the feeling that he is in a wonderland. He also pays attention to the thing in the hands of other people and wonders what they are eating. The main character asks if he is talking about those skewers and claims that it is octopus shashlik, after which she asks if he wants to try it. The young man asks if she is talking about an octopus and that it is a child of the sea. What kind of monster do you have to be to put them into eternal sleep? That's why he doesn't want to. Well, the girl replies that the octopus is not a child of the sea. The maid at this time turns to the mistress and tells her to look at the sky, because it's time. Another girl also suggests that the mistress quickly go look at the sky lanterns, to which she agrees. A little while later, they are standing in the crowd, and the girl says that she thinks their turn may not come. But at the same moment, the maid tells the lady not to worry, because they will get tickets for the ceremony with the sky lanterns. Before it starts, there are always people who want to sell or exchange their tickets, so they will return soon, and the lady should wait there. The main character understands that there are so many people there and thinks, what if they get lost? But at that moment, someone takes her hand, and the girl asks if this is Hannah. The girl tells her to buy her 3 flowers, and then points to them. She also claims that those who could not take part in the lantern ceremony write their wishes on flowers and throw them into the water. It is surprising that such flowers never return to the shore, and the main character asks if this is true. Aaron Rosia also asks what flowers to buy her, and the girl leads her. The main character tells Hannah to wait and asks where she is going. Well, at that very moment, the little girl points to some flowers and says that she wants them too. The main character sees a boy in front of her who asks to buy flowers and claims that daisies mean hope, and if they buy them, they bless their future. Aaron Rosia claims that these are very beautiful daisies and asks how much they cost. The boy replies that they cost 10 shillings per flower, but the girl insists that she is talking about the basket. The boy asks if she is serious now, and the girl replies that she is offering them a look. At first glance, it seems that there are 100 flowers, and then the lady hands him a bag of money and also says that this should be enough. The boy in shock opens this bag and sees gold coins there, and then screams that there are too many, so he cannot take so much. But the girl says that the child should take them because she was looking for a merchant who would sell such a basket anyway. Unfortunately, the other merchants have already sold half of their goods, and he is just a precious child that they were lucky enough to find, so he can accept this money. The young man realizes that she is so nice to a child like him, and thanks the lady. The main character smiles in response, and when they head back, Hana claims that she did not expect the lady to buy them all. The girl replies that she thought it would be nice to put them in the room, and she says that Hana needs these flowers more than he does. The girl then thanks the lady, and a little while later, they go to the queue. Rosia realizes that it looks like the ceremony is about to begin. At this time, the maids approach the lady and say that they managed to get only 2 tickets for the ceremony. They were there last year, so everything is fine, but one of them will still have to stay. Hana says that everything is fine. After all, they bought a lot of flowers to replace the lantern ceremony for her and her sisters. The girls ask if that's true, and did the lady really know that they wouldn't be able to get tickets? Their interlocutor replies that it is just a premonition, so she offers to give the tickets to Mrs. Aisha and Arson. To which they agree. The main character understands that Hana already knew that there would not be enough tickets, because she is Hartz's student. At this time, the maid tells the lady that then they will go and put some flowers in the water and let her have a good time with Arson, to which the girl agrees and understands that she needs to enjoy the moment, because the children have already been through a lot. A carriage with temple servants carrying sky lanterns appeared on the street. Each one sincerely prayed that his lantern filled with the deepest desires would reach the sky and the deity of all beginnings. Arson turns to Mrs. Rosia and claims that her wish will definitely come true. The girl thanks him and claims that Arson's wish will also come true. Well, at that very moment, someone else runs up to the lady and screams whether she has seen Hana. The maids claim that she suddenly disappeared in the crowd. The main character then suggests that they split up and find the girl, and even if they don't find her, they'll meet month, and then in 20 minutes, they agree to what you do. A little while later, they are all looking for a girl. The boy at this time turns to the lady and claims that there are chamomile petals there. The main character, upon examining them, understands that these are definitely the petals of the flowers that she bought for Hana. After which, the girl wonders if she really went into that alley, and then they hear someone screaming. When they go there, then see as Cassian. They beat him up, and the girl thinks why he is there. The lady also sees Hana and the boy who sold them flowers behind her. The main character tells them to stop, and that's enough. One of the hooligans asks who she is, and if the girl doesn't want to get beat up, then let her go her own way. Cassian at that moment screams for the girl to quickly call her brother there. But at that moment, someone screams for this idiot to shut up and hits him. After which, these two approach the lady and ask who she is. And also, does she not understand what she interfered in? The main character prepares for the blow and closes her eyes. But when she opens them, she realizes that Kokre is already standing in front of her, holding this man's hand. A little while later, he's already finished with these hooligans, and says how good it is that he wasn't late. Rosia asks how he knew that they were there. Well, at that very moment, Arson runs up to the lady and asks if she's okay. The man claims that this kid told him everything, and otherwise, he could have been late. The main character then thanks him for his help. She also turns to the boy who was selling flowers and asks if he is okay, and what happened there. The young man replies that when he was going back, he fell and scattered the coins. These people tried to take the lady's money from her. Then his sister and brother appeared and helped him. The main character at this time looks at Cassian, and he claims that he was just passing by, and it seemed to him that the boy was in danger, so he helped. The young man then apologizes to his brother and also thanks him for helping. He hands him a daisy and claims that he left it for the ceremony and now wants to give it to him. The man then thanks the boy. The main character wonders if Hana really disappeared to save her from this boy. The girl at this time turns to Mrs. Rosia and suggests returning to the mansion. A little while later, the servant cries out in shock to the young master and asks what happened. The man also claims that he will call him a doctor. The maid also turns to the young gentleman and asks if he is in much pain. The main character says that she will do everything, after which she suggests that the maid not to worry and go, to which the woman agrees, after which she bows and says that she will go. At this time, Cassian asks if the lady really wants to say something about the main character, wondering if he was following them at the festival. The guy at the same moment in shock asks what she is wondering if her brother hasn't told her anything about him. The main character asks if he is talking about Tamon, and remembers how the man said that if she meets his younger brother, then let the lady ignore him. Now the girl replies that he didn't tell her anything, and the guy asks if that's really true. Rosia wonders if she really hurt him and realizes that she needs to change the atmosphere before Cassian gets depressed. The main character says that she heard that in his youth the guy was sick, but then she says that everything is fine now because his condition improved when he started taking the medicine that his brother gave him. If it weren't for them, then he would probably still be lying in a hospital bed. The girl asks if he is talking about medications and wonders if there is really such a remedy that can get a patient out of bed. Her interlocutor asks if it is amazing, after which he claims that he never received an answer. When he asked where the brother got them from, the man did not tell him. Rosia asks if this is true and claims that it is a miraculous medicine. The lady also asks what it looks like and if the guy has it with him. The young man replies that it is in another room now. This liquid medicine is red in color, and in any case, it is miraculous. Rosia thinks about the miraculous and red liquid of unknown origin. The girl also understands that Tamon pretends not to love his brother, but gives his red liquid to save him, or he is more loving than she thinks. After which, the lady realizes that she does not know about the guy, claims that he has already heard this, and it seems to him that the lady is very similar to her brother. The main character asks if this is true, to which her interlocutor notes that she has a mysterious expression on her face, and this look as if the lady knows everything in the world, especially when she doesn't laugh. Who are they, then like twins? And everyone says that the lady has a beautiful laugh, but she doesn't even smile at him. Rosia wonders if that's why he's upset, to which the guy replies that it's not so. The girl claims that she doesn't like him following her, but she is grateful that he saved the children. Her interlocutor claims that it looks like bad luck, but for some reason he doesn't feel bad. Rosia claims that he also looks like his brother, and the young man asks how. Replies in her thoughts that she is obsessed, and the guy asks why she is not answering. Rosia claims that she thinks the guy is okay now, so she will go. Well, the young man just screams, offering to end their conversation, and the lady realizes that he really is the same. A little while later, the queen asks if the guy is really going to leave without treatment, to which he replies that he is not used to showing his body to others. The woman asks if he is making fun of her, after which she screams at him not to say anything and to go get treatment. Tamon replies that he is sorry, but he really can't get treatment from anyone. Her interlocutor asks why, to which the man replies that he has his own doctor, and even if he is on the verge of death, only he will treat him. The queen then says that this is somehow strange. Much time later, the man already returns to the mansion and thinks that Her Majesty is something with something because he still has pain everywhere. The servant immediately runs up to the master and asks what happened to him, to which he replies that nothing happened and asks where Rosia is. His interlocutor replies that the girl is taking care of Mr. Cassian, and the man asks why her. Satin claims that they went to the Sky Lantern ceremony and met with bandits. At that moment, the guy jumps up and runs to Rosia. When he enters the room, he turns to her, and the girl asks if he has already returned. The man immediately asks if the girl is okay, and if she is injured, to which she replies that everything is fine. Well, he says that he is all wounded. Tamon tells her not to go out anywhere without him anymore, because as soon as his Netto lady gets into trouble. The main character replies that she doesn't think that's what he wanted to say, and asks how this happened to him, to which the guy replies that the queen said that, in order to release her anger, she needs to beat him up. Let the lady see. It looks like even his ribs are broken. Rosia replies that she understood that he would be punished, but she didn't think that it would be like this. Now it seems to her that it is not she, but he who gets into trouble if she is not around. The man then smiles and claims that he is sick, after which he asks the lady to heal him. The main character claims that first they should change their place. And when her interlocutor sits on the bed, he tells the girl to hurry up and heal him, because he is in so much pain, so let her do it gently. Rosia says that it seems that everything is really serious, to which her interlocutor replies that this is true and everything is very bad, so let her give him gentle treatment.